What's the deal, my people? You know what it is, the Don Tony Teflon, Phil the Issues Guy. This is the Escaping From podcast. We are back with another season of From. This is season 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's gotten off to a tremendous start. Phil, what say you?
Oh my goodness. This might have been one of my favorite episodes. I'm big in the recency bias kind of thing. So I'll say this is probably my favorite episode since season 1. Not that I didn't like season 2, but this felt like this might be just as good as the premiere episode, which I think was an excellent episode of bringing you into the situation. Pretty much everything, forget all the stuff that you got right, and we'll get into that stuff. But just for the fact of the stuff that both of us have been screaming, and so many people have been screaming in the off season, wanting this to be more scary. Even I know some people didn't get answers. We even got a couple of answers that they could have stretched out longer, like, is Tabitha in the real world or something? Or are these people actually missing in reality? And we got answers like that right off the bat. I know that's a simple question, Tony, but all in all, this was an amazing episode. I heard you in your review say 9 out of 10. I would go right around there. I might even give it a little higher. This was probably
I want to give him a little something. I want to give you.
No, I hear you, but this might be one of my favorite episodes of From I've ever seen. It was a really good episode.
It really is one of my favorite, if not my favorite episode of all time on From. It is definitely one of my favorite. I mean, it's top 2. It's either this or what number 1. So top 2. It's not going any farther down than that.
They came back swinging. This was just an excellent episode for Harold. But that being said, Tony, and we'll examine this when we get into our recap and go point by point on this, but there's some stupidity here. You know, some of the stuff that we were hoping for in the trailer, maybe some stupid moves got made. And I want to talk about Ethan in a second here, but we'll get into Ethan in a minute.
100%. I think everyone could see the familiar. I'm debuting the Teflon TV Familia, right? You know, seen the Familia. Ain't no one ever seen nothing like that, right? You seen Fromily, but you ain't seen the Familia shirt. And I know people have asked me, Teflon TV, what's good? I told you I would have the shop set up. The link is in the description. So if you want to buy one of these shirts, you can go to the link that's in the description. I can actually show you what it looks like real quick. I don't know if I can't with this fucking computer. There's something going on. I think I just got to get a mouse or something and hook a mouse up to. That's probably what's good. The trackpad's probably messed up. But yeah, so you can go to the Teflon TV in the description if you are interested in buying one of these Familia shirts. We have like 6 shirts up there right now, and we're going to give away shirts here too. We are live streaming on Teflon TV and on Phil the Issues Guy's channel. So what up to everybody who's watching on both channels and everything? Make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way in. We have to get this spread out across the realm. Can announce right now that Elizabeth Moy will be here next week. She'll be here next week. She'll be taking your calls and everything else.
So she's okay. In reality, she's okay, because that was some horrifying crap, Tony. That of the lists of deaths that we've had on this show for horrifying deaths, this might be top of the list too. As much as we were anticipating this, and I don't know about you, Tony, as much as the two of us were anticipating what was going to happen to this woman, and I think a lot of the fandom speculated she was the one. The way she went out was even more horrifying than I could have expected. They really did this. I don't want to say well, but it was creepy and sick. It really sent the shivers down my skin, Tony. It was
100% they did. I'm gonna go. People saying they're having problems with the link right now. Let me check the link real quick that I put in there. And
I'll take some of the chat. We'll see who's in the chat. Over on Phil the Issues Guy, we got Little Dolphin and Sandroko. Thank you guys over there. Season 2 was weaker, much weaker. Hello, hi Tony, says Little Dolphin. Hi, how's it going? Thank you for popping on in there. We got Derek from earlier, said sneak watching at work. No, it's working. My bad, says Drunk Bishop. That's exciting. It was so sad and horrible how she went out. Man, Kenny's going to be scorched to earth. And I guess that's one of the big questions, and we're going to see when Kenny gets back, and how people are going to react to Boyd. If Boyd's left there, handcuffed, not hurt, other than, you know, someone messing with his gun wound, scratching it a little bit, and the dead body is there, and Kenny walks in and finds that with Boyd alive with his dead butt, like that is definitely sending Kenny bad, and that might be the final straw between Kenny and Boyd. He's going to blame Boyd.
Yeah, I think that, you know, Kenny would have every right, because if I would have seen what happened, and then all of a sudden Boyd just pops up, nothing wrong with Boyd, nothing happens to this guy, and all these other things that happen to everybody, you got to start to question, is something going on? Are you in on this shit, bro? Because
Exactly.
it's something here. I mean, how are you not getting hurt? And everybody else seems to be getting hurt. And you were inside there. Gonna have, and he's gonna say, "Well, they handcuffed me." These things handcuffed you, made you watch this, and they don't want to kill you. You should be the biggest threat to all these monsters. You should be the number one guy that they want to kill. If they gotta kill someone, that should be the person that they want to get out of here. So I don't understand exactly how Boyd would be able to explain this. I would be upset. I would question him and everything else. So I would definitely think he has some things to answer.
Totally. And Boyd is going to explain himself. It's not a spoilers for Game of Thrones moment like Ned walking in and seeing Jamie sitting on the throne, be like, explain yourself, man. But like he's going to come in and Kenny's going to go into pure emotionality mode, freak out and come at Boyd. And I just don't see what Boyd could possibly say to him. And Boyd's going to be emotional about it as well. This is not going to go good. Basically, it's not going to go good. And this might, in fact, drive Kenny over that edge of what we were talking about.
We got a super chat from Phil the Issues Guy channel.
Oh, we do. Thank you.
It's from Vanessa Wickett. She says the monsters were like, "Oh, you think you are safe?"
And
I think one of those things. Thank you for the super chat, Vanessa. Vanessa, we truly appreciate it. One thing I will say is that one complaint that we had about the show when it was on before was that quite possibly there was quite possibly the monsters got dumbed down. They didn't seem as menacing. How did you feel about the monsters in this episode?
They seemed crafty. They seemed more like I don't even know if it's a group consciousness, but I thought it was interesting in the sense that they didn't seem to want to kill anybody. In a couple of points, they were sort of in the scene with the cow and Jade that we were speculating about in the picture. Ultimately, what led to that, what the milkman was doing, he was walking over to scare him, and then he sliced the cow instead of going after Jade. They were doing it as more of tactical play to try to get Boyd into that barn. My question is, were they trying
Boyd?
Were they trying to get Boyd or were they trying to get somebody else? What was the plan? But either way, Tony, it's interesting. They definitely were more planny and plotty here. They had more of, in the way that Cowboy was talking, recalling information. Remember when you said that, Boyd? Like all of that seemed like they were a little bit more planny. But to throw that back to you, the question, kind of what you were saying there, their plan couldn't have specifically been to grab somebody and kill them in front of Boyd. Boyd might have gone in there alone. If the cow just moved a little easier, Boyd wouldn't have needed her to come in there. So what would they have done to Boyd in that situation?
Yeah. Do they kill Boyd then, or they figured someone else was going to go in there? I mean, listen, number one thing you always got to do is clear the room, people. You go. You got to clear the room before you go in it. You can't just walk up in there backwards and then be shocked that they're in there. Two, how did these monsters know that it was safe for them to get? There was no talisman in there. And so we see that when even when the door is locked, the talisman's up, these creatures, no windows broken or nothing. They weren't invited in, but they were already in there, and the talisman has no effect on them whatsoever. Yep. From what we see, I mean, I'm figuring they can get out of here. You know what I mean? To figure they can get out of here. And Phil the Issues Guy has just gifted 5 memberships. Who are the 5 new members? Maybe I could do some little gifty gift.
We got Betrayed King, we got OW, we got Carol Funk, and we got Day Night. And I also got the wheel here that I spun. I changed it. We have like 1 through 14. So maybe later we can do a lottery for some wins later. And I'm going to spin the wheel every time we get a super chat on either channel. And if it lands on certain numbers, I'm going to do silly things. And we might even get Tony to do a Randall impression later. If it lands on number 13, Tony's doing a Randall impression.
Yeah, maybe we could do something with Randall. We could probably work something out there by doing something with Randall.
And like Steph said on the Phil the Issues Guy channel, they're like the Borg. Resistance is futile. They seemed more Borg-like in this episode to me, Tony. More something was consciously controlling them, and something was speaking through Cowboy.
Something was speaking through. I mean, I like this. I like it the fact when they speak. I like to hear them talk. That's the difference between them and you talk about zombies and other monster things. These monsters actually speak. They offer has things to say. We've seen them say different things, and I like the way that they're acting when it comes down to this. So I do enjoy that part of it. Let's see if I have any memberships to gift.
The monsters were also screaming. They were screaming a lot. Good point, Selena, in the chat. After every situation that they did where they were out there causing the problems, do you notice how Milkman slashed the cow and then he went, ah! He screamed after he did it. After everything that they did, they like screamed in excitement for some reason. It was they were celebrating. There was a lot of mock showing. They were putting on a show tonight. It seemed like
100% from downtown is giving a super chat. Thank you so much. Does it seem like Boyd was manhandling the professor monster until he changed form? Does changing enhance their powers? I think so. I think we've seen that twice. Boyd was manhandling. He got upset. He changed, and we've seen that when they broke into the house, that she almost got that door closed on that grandma monster, and then she changed forms, and that's when she was looking around. She changed right after that. But I think that I think you're correct that their powers are only when they have those powers is when they have their regular form. When they're in this, we can call a glamour, for lack of a better term, it doesn't seem like they have super strength. What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, it does seem like they do. I'm trying to think of the creature that I'm thinking about, but like Power On. Like when it comes on, they seem to get a little bit of a super strength. Like they shake their head and they suddenly get their power. It's some parts of it were reminding me a little bit of, again, people are gonna say you're calling them vampires. I'm not calling them vampires, but the way, like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, when a vampire is trying to hold their shape or something, someone hits them and their face and their real form comes out, and it's like, here's my real form. It seemed like there was a little bit like that. And yes, Boyd's like sitting there. That reminded me more of a scene out of Oz than anything we've seen on this show so far. When Boyd got trapped in there, it was like Vern and the boys. They're like, "Come here, Hill. You know, we're gonna teach you a lesson." That was a very just scary scene, but I do think there is something to that.
No doubt. HBK Hot Boy 713 says send super chat $5. Nice. Thank you. Rip to Big Betty the cow. And Tony, did you see a girl behind you make a monster appear? She did. It looks like she got a facelift though. Looks like she did. She got a little facelifty lift in there and everything else. Listen, now I see y'all in the chat, and I see the fairies, and I'm not telling you that they're not fairies. But God damn it, if these egg-headed monsters don't look like goddamn aliens to me, I don't know if you ever seen a depiction of what an alien is supposed to look like. Because to me, those eggheads would look just like aliens. What are you thinking about, Phil?
Tony, they looked alien-like to me in that moment, but I do have to bark back on something when we get to it to talk about it. That I was team for, and now I'm not sure so much about. And that's the Elgin vision thing. And we'll take this episode beat for beat. We'll eventually get into this. And I also want to thank anyone that's listening to this on the audio cast. If people are interested in listening to this in a podcast form, you can do that as well. This will be available in all your podcast places. But I want to talk about Elgin and the creature that's on our thumbnails that you designed. She looks less like Fatima to me in this episode.
Okay.
She looks a little bit more like a White Walker for some reason. Like her makeup looked White Walkerish. I'm not saying it's not Fatima, but in this episode, she looked more, in threat of a better word, alien, like some sort of weird alien creature. Like she had like an ET mouth or something going on there. It didn't quite look as much like Fatima to me. What do you think? Are you?
I think it looks just like her. I'm telling you, this is her. It's just she just dried out. It looks like she has, though the creature is emitting water everywhere it goes. It looks you could see the gauntness in this creature, right? And we see Fatima having trouble holding down food, right? So you see the gauntness in this creature. You see the cheeks are sucked in and stuff.
Yep.
It seems like this is what the baby inside of Fatima. You know, listen, we know that when mothers have kids, if they don't get enough calcium, the kids will take the calcium from their teeth and rot their teeth out. I think it could be a situation like that going on, but not just with calcium, but other things. And I think that she could turn into this Walking Deadish type creature. Yeah, she looks dehydrated, Kimberly.
Now, correct. I'm not jumping off the bus, Tony, but I'm kind of pushing the button, ding, ding, ding. I'm almost getting to my stop, but I'm not convinced. I think everything you said makes a lot of sense. It's just in this episode, it didn't give me the same vibes, but you could absolutely be right. That could be her almost like Arnold Schwarzenegger in space in Total Recall, like when his skin starts getting sucked in and all that. It's the best mind fuck yet, Koigan. Like that.
Or you would say James Bond, and what was that? Rollerball?
Is that the one? I know. I can
spinning around in the machine. They got him in that machine, and you see his cheeks going because it keeps spinning around. And that one, I forgot the name, but his cheeks looked like that when it was going on, and everything else. Yeah, and listen, I know people are gonna say Fatima hair is not straight. The hair looks nothing like Fatima. You're talking about this person is soaking wet, right? So you got to understand that the first time we seen it, Elgin was underwater and the hair was floaty. This time, this person is soaking wet. If you take any woman with hair like Fatima and soaking wet it, it's going to come out like that. That's my thing. But listen, we'll see in the end. The real Eric, thank you for the super chat. Someone gifted me a membership. Thank you. How many people become monsters? Kenny will become a monster from trauma alone. Kenny's. We talked about it before, about Breaking Bad Kenny, and he said, let's start the recap though. I think we got you're gonna recap, and we have a call-in number, all right, and we'll open up the lines in about 30 minutes or so. We'll open up the lines in 30 minutes after we've done our initial talks and stuff, and then we'll open it up.
So Tony, I'm not gonna jump around like an idiot, but it's time for the recap. Okay, let's do that. That's not copyright music. You don't have to worry about that. That's my stupid band. I'm not going to do anything. Okay, so we open right back up in the hospital with Tabitha. She was found without any ID at St. Anthony's Hospital, found with a concussion on a trail in Camden, Maine. The doctor asks about the cuts and the bruises. Will they treat her? They're treating her with kid gloves, asking about her family. Police are on their way. Dr. Birdie is this person. She wants to leave and make sure she got tests. Okay, she rips out her IV and she runs the hell out of there. Room 2225. Anything really to say more about this scene other than it's interesting she's in Camden, Maine. We know she's actually in the real world, right? At this point.
Yeah. I think that I think a couple of theories are going to get shot dead. Number one, we know that it was Tabitha's reflection in the window. All right. I don't want to hear that it was a different person in the window. I don't want to hear that anymore. It was Tabitha's reflection in the window. Next, I told you that when you're a missing person, I think anyone in the real world knows if you're missing, your family's missing, the cops are going to be involved. And I said that the cops are going to come for her. There's no way around that. They got to come. They got to do their investigation. We see the cops roll up in this whole situation, right? And then after the cops roll up in this situation, she sneaks outside there. I know people are saying something about the numbers on the door adding up to 7, and there's a lot of 7s in there if you add them up. So it could be something like that. I have to do a little more investigation of it. But I think it played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out for her in the hospital, that she was going to have to escape out. Pretty lax security in this hospital. She got out really quick. I mean, it's pretty hard to get out of a hospital. Let me tell you.
Nothing beeped when she pulled that stuff out. No, she just walked zippity doodad right out of there.
Yeah, she was right out. Let me show some love to V-Love. Send a super chat over here in the Cash App. Thank you so much, V-Love, for sending that super chat in the app. We truly appreciate that. So yeah, she got out of there pretty quick. You know what I mean? She got out there and she, with a beat up ass jacket and a strap to a goddamn lunch pail box that I actually had that style lunch pail box as a child. I had the $6 Million Man one.
I had the Brady Bunch one. But she heads out the hospital and she's escaping. She's hurting. She sneaks down the elevator. We get some great music, narrow focus as she watches the elevator head. And as she walks out the door, she sees the cops head in. She's just like, la, 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 cops running in the front door. Now she's walking around Camden, Maine. We see some hippies. We see some hippie girls. It gets kind of creepy. She asks these girls if she can use their phone. And
we go first is the boy in white.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, she sees the boy in white and all of his creepiness waving across the street, and she heads there, almost getting hit by a car, and nothing's there. I saw you write in a comment with this on your video. Did she actually see the boy in white, or did she see the kid she saw in the coffee house and thought he was the boy in white?
So that's the thing, because she sees the boy in white. Now, I don't know if this is the same actor. That's the same actor, Vox. He looked different, and maybe he's a child. He's growing and stuff, but he did look a little different to me. So maybe he's just getting taller or anything else. We'll put the call-in number in soon. We're gonna take calls in about 15 minutes, Kim. So we'll have the number out there for you in a little bit, and you'll be able to call in and stuff. So, she it didn't really look like the boy in white from that I'm familiar with. It looked like a different kid, but it didn't look like him. I don't know if he's just getting older or anything, but it didn't look like Vox. I don't know if they changed the character. All right,
I'd have to get a relook, but it was
yeah, no, it definitely looked that being said, again with this boy in white, we've seen his lips move one time, and that's when he was talking to Tabitha inside the lighthouse. Every other time we've seen him talk, his lips never moved. He was always talking to people mentally. He was talking to, so is he in her head? Did she actually see the boy in white in the real world, or did he project himself to be that? So she, because where he followed her didn't serve any purpose. Not like he followed her. He led her somewhere where she needed to go. It was to a coffee house. Unless he was like, go get a Red Bull. You're looking crazy, girl.
You need an espresso. Wake up.
Yeah, unless he was like, we got a nice super chat here from a man. RC says, when Kenny finds his mother is dead, he's going to die. We are going to get to the Kenny part. I promise you. Thank you for the super chat. Very generous of you. We truly appreciate it. We got over 265 people in here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for your boys, and make sure you subscribe to Phil the Issues Guy's channel. You know what I mean? He's also live streaming this at the same time and everything else. So yeah, it comes down to I think they want you to believe that she's seeing him in the real world, but she sees a boy that she believes is him,
right?
And it's not. So I think it's in her head. I don't think it's really the boy in white. I think it's in her head. I think she thought that boy was the boy in white the whole time, and she imagined that whole thing.
I think she saw somebody that looks kind of like him, and then got the projection and got the flashback of him, and is kind of seeing that progression follow the other kid. And then she goes into the store and the coffee house that looks like the coffee house from Frasier, and she's like touching this kid. Is like, why'd you tell me there's no other choice? And the mother's like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of here.
Put your hands on my kids.
So Tabitha runs out of there, and she avoids the cops again, and we get the intro, which goes off to we come back in on Boyd cleaning his wounds and talking to Ghost Cautry. And okay, we got to talk about Ghost Cautry here, but let me get through this scene quickly. He's talking shit about the events from last year and his interesting vibe. He's just a talking shit projection, telling him winter's coming and people are hungry. Boyd is like, we need to not make people panic, and and then he goes, maybe you're not panicking enough. And then Boyd says what I think the interesting part of this whole scene is, and you alluded to this in your review as well. He says that the Abby I saw was not my wife. You're not just in my head. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. You're not just in my head. Like, you're not Father Cautry. Who are you? What are you? So is this Boyd going crazy in his head, or is this someone projecting to him in a vision of someone he trusts, or someone that can actually talk to him? Tony, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I think that from this, it is now clear that these are not just visions in people's head, that someone is placing these things there in their head. They're using the people who are most close to them. Yeah. Right. So we see Boyd, Father Cautry, we see Jade with the bartender. Somebody is posting these people, or coming in these forms of these people, to talk to them and have conversations with them. Right. So that is exactly what's happened. We know that it's not in his head, because they wouldn't have mentioned that Abby was not in his head. They wouldn't have mentioned anything like that unless it was something like that. So now we know. I think that, to me, is 100% confirmation that there's some entity projecting these visions in these people's heads. Now we have to figure out, what are they, good or are they bad? Is somebody trying to help them by steering them down the right path, or someone steering them down the wrong path? It does remind me of, all these movies that we see, out of space movies. You could go to Jodie Foster's Contact, or not Constellation, or Matthew McConaughey movie, where they both met people in the fourth dimension. Interstellar, and they both met people in like the fourth dimension, and they came to them in forms of humans that they would be comfortable with. And that is the whole thing. So we can't show you our true form, because you wouldn't understand it. So we're going to show ourselves to you in people that you're comfortable with. And I think it was like someone that was related to her father, Jodie Foster, or someone that was comfortable to her. So go ahead.
No, you've seen that in a lot of other media too, Tony. That's absolutely correct. Like, you see it in Star Trek, when like an alien inhabits a creature, like, or takes over takes over the consciousness of something that's trusting. Like if you and I were hanging out and an alien would take over me, so you would be to make contact because hey, I'll have a drink with Phil, and so it could be something like that as well, and that they're using these projections of people that people trust to try to send a message somehow.
Yeah, because you gotta look at the different things that they're saying. It's, Abby was saying basically that's why he didn't think it was her, because she was like, let these people die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let these people die. Let them die. They're gonna die one way or another. And he's like, no. So that seemed like it was the evil guy. But then when you deal with the people that are Father Kotri, he's always seems to have helpful advice. So it could be two different people there coming for two different people there who are doing two different things here, right? That's the way it probably is. It could be two different entities doing the same thing, but trying to accomplish a different goal than like fighting for control of these people inside. I think, Cheryl, thank you for the super chat. I think Victor's address in the lunchbox was not a coincidence. I'm going to tell you, anyone who's had a lunchbox, you that's what you do. You put your address on a piece of tape, and I don't know how I didn't think of that. I really don't know how I didn't think of that, because when you had a lunchbox like that, you always had your address on the inside of that fucking lunchbox.
Now, did the boy in white push her to a specific place to go to Victor's town to send him to his own town?
You would have to think that it's not a coincidence that she wound up in Camden, Maine. She has it. Victor's the key to this whole thing. Victor's family. This is what this whole thing is about. This whole thing is 100% about Victor and Victor's family, and they are the ones who are connected to this whole thing, and that's what's going on here. There's no other reason for them to go to that spot. She could have pushed her to New York. He could have pushed her somewhere else, but just pushed her there, Camden, Maine. And I feel that the boy in white, or whoever that entity is, knew that she would figure out that Victor's dad lived there. I don't know if he was able to look into the lunch bill, because when she goes into the church, I mean, she spills her guts about everything in the goddamn church.
Yeah, right? she opens her mouth. We'll get to that in a second, but she opens her mouth and like crazy. And again, we'll get to it later. But Victor goes Michael Corleone gangster a little bit later in this episode too. Like, where is that coming from? Pulling out his gun, playing duck hunt or something.
We did talk about that when we had Scott on. Remember, he was saying that Victor's not a punk. Remember,
Victor's going to show up.
He said it. He said it in our interview. He goes, Victor's not a punk. Don't let people think he's not a punk. And Scott McCoy specifically said that. And he's right. Victor's not a punk.
He got to show that tonight. Okay, so Boyd goes outside, and Kenny's mom is talking shit to Ethan. He is he's looking for Julie. Comes out, and they're all glad they found Ethan. So Julie is like, whatever. So Boyd and Jim connect and talk. Jim wants to go to the woods overnight to find Tabby. And Jim is like, the kids need a mom. I got to go do it. Ethan just went out to go look for him. I got to do something. I have to go out and find my mom. Boyd says, I've already done this, and this is one of those moments where I feel like they were taunting some of the fan base here. They mentioned like 3 different times about the tent being dragged with no explanation. They just mentioned it. They're like, yeah, the tent was dragged. And then Jim and Kenny mentioned it later. I think Boyd mentions it twice. But Jim says, you made it back though, so I'm going to do it anyway. And Boyd is like, stops himself from saying it, but he basically says she's already dead. Like, give it up, dude. And he's like, what the fuck? Kenny comes in. He goes, what's up, guys? I'll come too. And Kenny decides to mitigate the situation. And then Tony, from that, we cut right off to Fatima puking. And who's this asshole yelling at a pregnant woman in the bathroom, puking?
She's the girl that in the trailer that had the wound.
Oh,
she's got the same boob size and the same shirt.
What an asshole.
That's her. She's the one who got that wound on that couch, and she's laying there screaming. I thought it was Julie initially because I couldn't see the face. But now that I see this, I'm 100% convinced this is her. So she's going to get her up and coming, obviously, sooner than later.
Good.
But yeah, I mean, listen, shorty, in that big-ass house, only got one bathroom. That's it. That's all you got. Listen, I live in upstate New York, all right? And one thing I'm going to tell you about upstate New York, when I've been up here for a while, they do a lot of road parties back in the day when I was younger. I have seen many a women pee on the side of the road.
Seriously, dude. It's during the day.
Like, it's not like you had to take a poop You had to piss. Go outside and pee in the bush. There's a pregnant
instead of
woman in here.
bothering the pregnant woman, you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
in there with morning sickness. Like, give me a break. It's not like, and she's screaming, "Why are you in there? Why are you in there? You know why I'm in here? I'm pregnant, you asshole." It was just such an asshole move.
100%. Maxim Tommy, thank you for the super chat. Says exactly. That's what I think too, Phil. Now the real question is, do you guys think Tabitha was sent to bring Victor's father back to town? You want to answer this right
I
now?
mean, we can talk a little bit about this and then we'll get to it, but
I don't think she was sent to bring Victor's father
neither do I. But I
back. I
do
don't
think it's
that was the case.
interesting about that scene, Tony, that Victor's dad did not look surprised to see someone there to talk to him, but he was surprised when he saw the lunchbox. I mean, we'll talk about that when we get to the scene, but when she was coming up, he's like, "Not this." He had more of a "not this again." So if other people come to him, like trying to find his kid, like press or something, because he seemed to be like, "Get away, not another person" kind of vibe. Or did
real quick, Shorty Poo talking about something we're talking about now. Do y'all think, do y'all down south think that we're going to see the girl that let Tabby use her phone again? Do you think Tabby's family will call that number back? What are you thinking?
I don't know. They definitely spent an unusual amount of time on those two girls. It reminded me a lot of the Sopranos episode, Heidi and Kitty or whatever. It's the episode where Christopher Maltasante dances. I don't want to spoil things, but like they just spend this time in a car and these two girls that are just like, "Hey, oh my God, Heidi, you're going to get in trouble with mom." They just they really stopped and maybe let those extras play a little bit, but it seemed like they might come back, Tony. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. I think in the real world, yes, I think that the mother is going to call the number back. They're going to try to track her down. You know, whether this girl actually answers the phone for this strange number that calls. We don't know if any of that's going to come into play. As I said, from my theory, y'all can go check it out. I think she's back, episode 3, I think it is. So I don't think that it's going to be any effect on her at all in this show. So no, I think that they did have a description of TikTokers for cast member. I think those were the TikTokers because they would seem like they were doing some type of videos, and I think it's a one and done deal.
Okay, so they're just one off. Okay, so Nikki. Okay, so yeah, Nikki sucks. Ellis comes in and he's like, "What the hell's going on?" Her stomach hurts. You could feel better. Then Tilly shows up and says it's going to be all right in a sketchy way. Donna and Ellis talk, and they see a not sleeping Elgin walk by. And I love how Donna is just like, "I don't have time for this shit." Donna was so pissed off in this episode. She's like, I don't have time. Liz was playing angry really well in this episode. "I don't have time for this shit."
And Liz will be on the show this year. We will have Liz on. I've actually spoke to her today, so we'll have Liz on. And I was going to have someone else on tonight with us, but that person had a conflict of interest, so we had to push that person back. But I will tell you that Elizabeth Moy will be on next week. That's done deal. That's set in stone. So we'll be able to give her the flowers she deserves. And y'all will be able to call up and ask her questions next week. So we will have Elizabeth Moy on here.
So again, Boyd talks about this tent, and somewhere it got dragged and explains the camp in the woods and him and Sarah and the spider webs. And Kenny's like, "I'm coming too," to Jim. Boyd takes him outside like a dumbass, and Kenny's like, "I'm not. You're afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid." And this is the speech that's going to come back and haunt Boyd and Kenny. Even though this is Kenny's choice, this whole conversation is the conversation, Tony, that is shitty in retrospect when you think about what happens here. He says, "I know what it's like to lose a parent, and we can't play defense forever." And there's just so much crazy foreshadowing.
I think that you can't play defense forever is the key, because Kenny's already thinking it. And I'm telling you that killing this woman is enough to push them over the edge.
Bloody
it would make me go crazy if you killed my mother. You know, it's on now. Like there's got to be a point where it's on. You know what I mean? It's got to be a point where you guys say enough is a goddamn enough. You can't just let bullies bully you. Everyone knows that in life. Eventually, you got to stand up for yourself and you got to do something to them. And let me give a shout out to my man Pete Easy in the building, rocking with us, who is my partner in the Teflon TV shirt stuff. You got the link in the description. I'll see if let me drop the link in the chat too. If you're looking for like a shirt like the Don's rocking the Familia shirt. Phil will be rocking it next week. I'm just bad at sending shit, but Phil will be rocking it next week and stuff.
I'm not going
to shirt. We have like 5, 6 of them up there, and they're limited quantity. We're only doing 50 per shirt, so make sure you run out there and grab your shirts now while you can and stuff. We got a bunch of shirts up there. Link is in the description, and I'm definitely going to I'll get the link and put it in the chat. So if I have a moderator and someone can do that for me while I'm doing this, I truly would appreciate that. Let me give a shout out to a man. I seen him in there. Real Theories and Real Theories and Enigma was up in this piece. Let me give a shout out to my brother out here. I seen him in there and stuff like that. That's right. Familia, baby. You know, you ain't never seen the Familia. You may have seen the Family, but you ain't need no Familia up in this piece, right? Be the one rocking the Familia, something brand new. You know what I'm saying? You know what? Now you're gonna see people trying to copy it, but you know where to get it from, right there, and everything else. Let's go. All right, let's keep going.
So they hear something break, and okay, so after all this foreshadowing and after all of that with Kenny's going with them, I mean, we can keep talking about that, but Kenny's going and some bad shit's going to happen. We hear something break, and then our episode gets a hell of a lot more interesting, or not that it wasn't interesting before. I just mean to say how interesting his character is. Jade shows up, and Jade was just less is more with Jade sometimes, and he was just so good in this episode in the few parts he was in, laying on the ground, coming up. I'm sure in the weeks after this, in the week between this episode, we'll break down what exactly was going on in that room, the string theory thing. Was he just stretching it to try to make the string look like the image? Is that what he was trying to do? Was he
I don't. I think that when you do experiments, the ones like he's doing, right, and say you break the glass, you're not breaking the glass to actually see what that theory. It's just a thinking mechanism. It helps you think a little bit better and stuff, right? So I think that the string thing is just there to help him think about everything, and more than just trying to actually make it go on and everything else and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what I think it was. Mr. Bass AB. I don't know how you said Mr. Bass AB. How you say that, Phil?
Base ab.
Basically, I don't know. Mr. B. Let's go with that. Mr. B says, did anybody notice that the priest already knew that Tabitha's child was a boy? She talked about a child, and he said, "What's his name?" I did not catch that. Did you catch that, Phil?
I didn't, but I also did think the priest was kind of sketch for whatever reason. Like he gave me sketch vibes for whatever reason. The way he stepped out, the way he approached her, was talking like he knew something. But that could have just been the way we were seeing things.
I think he was hot for her.
Maybe that was that too.
Maybe it seemed like this priest was trying to get a piece.
Maybe he's a reverend, not a priest, Tony.
Yes, sir. I can help you find your way then. You want to come in here? I got you in this room. You know how I do it. You know how we do it. Yes, sir.
My brothers and my sisters, you will be saved. Just sit on my lap and you'll be saved.
You will say, I will save you. You want to be saved? You want to see God? I'll make you see the Lord tonight. Let me help you. He seemed like he was about that life.
I believe the children are the future. Okay, so we go off to Tabitha at a fun craft fair in Maine with some nice shoes, and some 2 girls are up there. It's like a craft fair, and they're up there, and Tabitha asks to use her phone, and they're giving her the "you insane woman, you can't use my phone." And what'd you do? Oh my god! But one of them lets her use the phone, and she calls her mom. The mom's freaking out. Where are you? They've been missing. They have been missing. The cops are looking for them. Tabitha says goodbye. It's like a quick conversation. But what important things we got out of that conversation, Tony, is they have been missing. Police are looking for them. We don't know how long they've been missing yet, but it does seem like it's enough time for the police to be out on the mission, not too long for them to give up on it. So it's we did get some answers here. So we get the answer that this, I mean, maybe not, maybe it's still an illusion, but I think this is the real world, Tony. I think we can accept that this is the actual real world.
This is the real world, and we know that those posters that they put out there for publicity are actually, you could take them through, even though everyone's like, oh, they're not real because they used the pictures of the actors in the town. Did they have people just do a photo shoot for those? No, they grabbed the pictures that they have, but the actual message on these things are 100% real. And we also now know that there are no clones or anyone impersonating them in the real world. They're really missing and stuff. And we also know that we can put the kibosh on the theory that Eloise is Tabitha's mother. All right. This lady was a whole Latino woman on that phone, speaking Spanish, heavy accent. As I've said from the beginning, that it's impossible to listen to the Tabitha's accent. She's raised in a family of this whole situation. And when dealing with Jim in the situation when he says that Jim, and she says, I didn't know if my family would like you. It was because her family, he's a different culture from his family. And that is the whole reason why she wasn't sure.
You know what Jim's culture is? Dumbass. Jim's culture is the dumbass culture. I don't know what Jim is, but he's dumbass.
We may get Jim on, Phil. Let's take it easy.
No, the actor's great at playing.
Yeah, the actor is great. We're talking about Jim. That's right. You got to separate the actor from the person. All right, Father Daniels, thank you for super chat. The Matthews and Victor's family have so many connections, mirror each other. Tabitha equals Victor's mom. Ethan equals Victor. Does Tabitha? Yes, I 100% can get with that. Tabitha does equal Victor's mom, and Ethan does a young Victor. Yeah, because Victor's mom lost the baby too. I've always thought the boy in white represents Thomas. Thoughts? We've heard Thomas mentioned. You can't just keep bringing Thomas up and something not happen with Thomas. They've mentioned that name too many times to not do something with Thomas or have Thomas get brought up. I have something else in mind with Thomas. I have a whole theory about Thomas. I'm going to come out and drop that video tomorrow. But what do you think about my man Father Daniel's question right here, right now? It's funny we talk about priests and we get Father Daniels on here. Don't get mad at me, Father Daniels. We just may have a little good time right here. All right, so what do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, a lot of that's going to depend on if the boy in white ends up being Victor, you know, or if that ends up being the case. I do think there's going to be some. I agree with your statement earlier that this whole thing is somehow going to end up being more about Victor and his family than we think, or than we even speculated. And I do think Victor's father knows about this place, knows what's going on, the look on his face, and a lot of stuff. So whether Victor's mom lost a baby too, and maybe the boy in white does represent Thomas to that connection with Ethan, there could be, if that is a different interpretation of what the boy in white could be, and that is not something I've thought too much about, but it's not the most outlandish thing to think that the boy in white could be a representation of Thomas.
We have to figure they buried Thomas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a baby. He died from falling off the table. We got to figure they did bury that. There was a whole body and they buried. Not that the doctor said, oh, he's dead, and he just took him away and he's gone. Right? If it's a situation like that, then we could see Thomas possibly pop back up somewhere, you know. But we have to figure that they did bury Thomas and everything else.
We see a flashback and the doctor's Victor's dad. It's like, sorry about this. Your baby's dead. Ha ha ha. Waka waka. Okay, so the blonde is like, oh my God, why'd you let her use her phone? But they walk off. Then Tabitha hears church bells. We'll talk about the church in a second, but we've already kind of talked about that scene. But we go off to dinner with Kenny and Christy. Are you sure you want? Oh, okay. Kenny's mom brings them food and they're worried, but Kenny is okay. Jim tells Ethan that he's going to go find his mom. Okay, we flash back between Kenny talking to Christy and then Jim talking to Ethan about leaving to go talk to mom. Do you think there's any significance to the puzzle that Ethan's playing with?
Yes, it's the same one as Camden, Maine.
Okay, it is the Camden, Maine. Okay,
that if you go look at that puzzle, that's the same place Tabitha's at. That's Camden, Maine puzzle. I'm telling you, that's what it is. There's no doubt about it. You can look at it. That's why they showed it. So if you look at the thing, it's the same shoreline. That's a Camden, Maine so puzzle cool. Right there.
The attention to detail on this show is amazing.
Which makes you have to think something crazy is going on here. That you have these things. You have Camden, Maine puzzle in there. She winds up in Camden, Maine. I'm telling you. What up to my brother Perp Minded in the building, rocking with us. Awesome YouTuber right there. Go check out his channel and his from stuff. He's been on it from day one, season one. Perp Minded's been rocking with me. You know, he's been doing that. So much love to him. So yeah, that Camden, Maine, that puzzle, this is all about Victor. I'm telling you, there's stories about him, and to have these things in there, it's just pointing. It's got something to do with his family in the end. It has to. There's no way around it.
Definitely does.
And James Fernster, Fern, how you say
Fernster maker?
Fernster maker. He says, "Do you think the scarecrows of the village will play a lot of roles? Do you think the scarecrows could play similar roles of talisman?" I do. We'll talk more about James. We'll do that. We're gonna get there. I promise you, bro. And we're gonna open up the phone lines in a little bit, and y'all will be able to call. We'll open up the phone lines at 10 o'clock, and then y'all can call in and ask your questions, and we'll be getting this thing popping. And so we got over 335 people here rocking with us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for your boys. You gotta hit the thumbs up. It's very important, so it spreads out over YouTube. We need those. It don't cost a thing, and we truly appreciate it.
Spread us. No pause. So Jim leaves Kenny and the kids. Okay, so yeah, you got to go. Spider webs, ding, ding, ding. You know in the right place when you see the spider webs. He says there's going to be a talisman hut. Use that as your home base. Go out that far, then go from that spot. Keep moving on. Make sure you keep going back to the hut. Look for the spider webs. Interesting, just to note what Boyd said. You go out enough in that direction, you're going to see the spider webs, because later they are either went in another direction, or things move, or things are always, or as Jim mentioned, maybe they got dragged past this spot when they were in the tent. But anyways, so Ellis needs Boyd to go to the fields. All the food is rotten, and this is where the shit hits the fan. If we all thought the food was going to be a factor, it becomes a factor right now. All the food is rotten. Nothing survived the storm. They're out of food. And snap the finger. All these insane people are charging Kenny's mom's house. We need food now. We need food now. Randall's stealing a goat. Victor comes in there and eventually pulls a gun on Randall. It's like, I'm going to shoot you. Randall's like, dude, a gun? Seriously? Boyd comes in, mitigates the situation, talks to Victor like he's a calm little boy. Calm down, little guy. Give me the gun. Give me the gun. And Boyd gives a big speech where he's like, we're going to take care of everything. Calls Randall an asshat. And it's a setback. We're all hungry, but we're going to make it. We're going to make it, Tony. And Randall says something that I think is very important before he walks away. You guys have no idea. And he walks off. What's he mean by you guys have no idea there, Tony?
It's whatever he's seen. Whatever he's seen, he's talking about in this situation, that y'all have no idea how deep this gets. Yeah, and that means it's 100% bigger than the creatures that they're seeing. He's seen behind the curtain, and so did Julie, and so did Marielle, but we don't know exactly what they seen. I think I have an idea but what they seen and stuff, but that's what he's talking about there in that whole situation with them there. And listen, Boyd was about to put them hands on him. He said, listen, we could do this right now. We could do this right here, bro. And he was like, nah, we just take the goat, bro. I don't want that.
He doesn't want to mess with Boyd. He didn't want to mess with Boyd in that situation. I think he was just pissed off and kind of being the dick, like, he gets to have a gun. Why'd you take away my gun?
It's to me, it's like, Winter, thank you for the super chat, 15 beans. Since I'm not the only one who laughed when Victor pulled the gun at random. No, we all laughed. We all laughed at that. You know what I mean? When it all comes down to it, it's like, what are you going with the goat on the bus?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with the goat, Randall? What are you
gonna do? Sex with the goat?
Tony? Yeah, you gotta put the goat on the bus with you, and what? And then what?
Turn on some Barry White or something?
From what we know, he has that. He used to have that tiny little knife, that little pocket knife. You want to dance? that knife.
Yeah, is he gonna cure the goat? What's he gonna do with the Swiss Army knife, the little dance knife?
What are you gonna do? You got no bottles. You gotta suck its teeth and get the milk out of it. What are you gonna do, bro? You ain't butchering that bitch. What are you gonna do? And this is a stupid plan.
You don't get it, Toady. You don't get it. I want the goat. The goat's mine.
Yeah. What are you gonna do with it, bro? You ain't got no beans.
Goat soup. Yeah, he's gonna throw the goat in water and he's gonna drink it. Be like, I got some goat soup. That's no how he's doing.
It's just not a thing. You know what I mean?
Plan 1, steal the goat. Plan 2, take over the world. Like, he just doesn't get it. No, I agree.
It's not getting to know all that and everything.
He's a jerk, but he did redeem himself in the end. I think that's going to be the plight of Randall. He's going to be an idiot douchemonger, and then he's going to do things like be smart enough to honk the horn to warn them that they're coming, or open the door at the last minute and be bravish in the right moment. Like, he's an idiot. He's a moron, but he's not a coward. You're an idiot. You're you're an idiot. You're a coward entirely, but not an idiot. The other way around. You know, he's an idiot. He's not a coward.
Let me give a shout out to Fernandez T. Hit me up on the super chat on the Cash App. Thank you so much, brother. Truly appreciate that.
Goat fries. Maybe some goat fries. Okay, so we were just, someone asked us a question about this, Tony, and we're at this scene. Kenny and Jim in the woods. They find some scary scarecrows. Who have we seen these scarecrows with before? Was it Jade that saw them, or was it Tabitha?
We've never seen these scarecrows.
Okay, we've never. Do we see pictures of them, maybe, or something?
No, we've never seen these. This is the first time that I can recall that these scarecrows came. And we got a super chat here from Mr. B. He says, in Camden, there was a huge rainbow war or at a flash sale. In Norse mythology, there is a rainbow bridge that connects the realms of the gods and the realms of man. This could be the Bifrost. All right, let me talk to you. I am an Avengers fan. I'm a comic book historian. I've read comic books, so I'm all familiar about the Rainbow Bridge due to that. I understand why you say it, and I do understand the Norse things that people say that are connected to this. And I will never tell you that it's not anything like that in the end. I don't believe it is, but I don't. I think when you talk when they have the Bifrost, I think you would have to show it, right? Anytime the Bifrost is depicted, you see the rainbow, you see people getting carried through it, you see all that. I think it would. I mean, could that be a nod to it coming later? Possibly, but they've always depicted. You see people going through the colors and everything else. So I just don't know what the Norse would have to do with people being locked in the town and everything else. I just never got that. And again, I believe the show was more science fiction than anything else. And the fact that I believe that, you don't have to take my word for it. You could take the word from the expert.
We have all sorts of stories, mythologies, legends that could be interpreted as gods, who in reality were misinterpreted extraterrestrials.
So when you deal with the North gods, always remember they were just extraterrestrials that were misinterpreted. And that's an expert said that, right? That's an expert. I can't go against that.
You can't argue.
I have no choice.
Tony, I think we missed a couple of Luna's super chats. One of them is Jim feels responsible for everything that happened to his family. Thomas's death, marriage gone bad, Julie's experience, but he's trying, but on a learning curve. Jim's fallible, but he's my guy. I mean, Jim is trying. He's trying to figure it all out. I think he's a real person, Luna. I think it's easy to shit on him because he does make some idiotic choices on occasion and brings up things when he shouldn't be. And Luna also said, "Frumily, Tony." So
Familia. I put that on there, and let me see if I can find. I don't see your other one that was up there. I don't see it. Was there another one?
Sometimes they
maybe she moved to your channel on that one. I think she's bouncing back and forth because it's not popping up on my thing here. I wish I could find it. Oh, there it is. I'm sorry, Luna. I haven't seen you in a long time, Luna. You left me, but I'm glad that you're back. It says Jim feels responsible for everything. I guess you read it before. What happened? Thomas's death, his marriage going bad, Julie's experience, but he's trying to put on a learning called Jim's fable, but he's my guy. And listen, I think that you could feel bad for Jim, and Jim is going through it. You know what I mean? But in the end, you have to really see whose idea was this divorce. Was it her idea that she wanted to get divorced, or was it Jim's idea that he wanted to get divorced?
I'm guessing he spent too much time on the roller coasters and wasn't spending enough time with Tabitha and focusing on that. I think Jim vibes to me as someone that gets too into his own projects.
Yeah, if Jim did that, he was riding the wrong roller coaster because that's a stupid man.
And so Jim and Kenny are in the woods. They find the scary scarecrows. They find the hut, and Jim immediately wants to break. And this is, again, the problem you have with Jim. I know he's a fallible, he's a real man, and blah, 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 blah. But immediately he wants to break Boyd's rules. Like, immediately. He's like, you know what, Kenny? I was thinking, I know Boyd gave us these rules of things to do, but, we could just, make camp here. this seems safe. These weird scarecrows and these little random cabins that just popped up. I know this place isn't scouted out too well, but you know what, Tony? Let's stay the night here. This is a lot safer than the place that we already checked out. Come on. And then he's such a douche that in the middle of it all, in the middle of the night, when things are going weird, he's like, you know what? I think I've made a big mistake. I think Boyd's actually right, and we should go home.
Yeah. After you put up this whole big ass fuss, I'm going, Boyd. Don't you say that. Don't you say it. I'm going. I'm doing this. I'm out there. As soon as he gets out there,
okay, I'll go home. I'll go home.
Maybe I need to go back home now.
Too
I didn't think that it was gonna be this many weeds out here. Like we had ticks in this motherfucker. I got a tick on my ass. I gotta go home. Like he cops so fast.
You didn't know there was gonna be mosquitoes and ticks, Tony. You're right. He's like this.
He just gets so fast. This dude. It reminds me of this dude. There's a big trail up here that he was like, I'm gonna walk the trail. I'm gonna walk this trail. The trail would have taken him probably a day and a half to actually walk it. He would have got all these fucking graham crackers. He got that chafing shit. We dropped his ass off at the trail in 30 minutes. He's like, yo, I'll come back, pick me up, man. Right. And that's the type of guy Jim is. Dude, he's all up for the adventure. He's the type of guy that says, yeah, let's go skydiving, and then gets in the plane, and now he don't want to jump. You know what I mean?
Tony, I've worked a couple of jobs like that when I was a kid, and I'm not proud of it. Like I got a job at Boston Market, and they wanted me to like spit and spin the chickens and stuff like that. And I'm like, nope, I'm out. I was like, went through orientation. I'm like, you want me to do that? No, thank you. I'm out. I'm not gutting the chickens. Not doing it. I was like, you don't want me to work at the front desk? Well, eventually you just have to be a utility. No, thank you. Anyways, so Jim wants.
Let me put this in announcement too. If you are going to go tonight, and you want to go buy a t-shirt, you're going to go in there. If you put in capital letters, Teflon 10,
codes,
you will get the 10% off of the purchase that you buy. Teflon 10. Put Teflon 10, go buy those shirts, put Teflon 10, you get the 10% off. Go out there and you can rock the Familia like awesome. You right here. And then when you do get the shirt, I would really appreciate it that you sent me a picture and I will put it on that site and then the shop site, and I'll have them all up in there for you. So if you buy the shirt and you send me the picture, I will put the picture up in there, and then you'll be able to see yourself in there rocking that.
Then we'll also make sure we put that picture up on the stream to show you off on the stream.
Exactly. We'll start sending them in the stream. Again, BM499 says we know Tabitha comes back and most likely tell them about the hospital. I think Ellis and Fatima will try to get to the hospital. Hard decision. We'll talk more about that. I appreciate the super chat when we get to that point. But her to leave and get to the hospital, I don't know if that would be a factor to do that, because we know they have an ambulance coming in, and we got to figure the ambulance is probably pretty stocked with stuff, right? If it's out on the call.
Plus, I'm just imagining the visual of Ellis like pushing pregnant Fatima like off the tower.
Yeah. Listen, we gotta push you.
There's no other way. It might not be the safest thing for a pregnant woman. Okay, so we kind of already talked about this, but Tabitha's in confession. She's unburdened herself. And Tony mentioned this in his review. He mentioned it earlier tonight too. Like, what's up with Tabitha? Did someone give her some sodium pentothal or something like that? Does she have to tell the truth? It's like I just hear Tyrion's voice. Jon Snow, why don't you learn how to lie? Like, Tabitha, I mean, you're not in the booth at that point. You're just out there like scouting out to the priest in open quarters. But the priest did seem a little weird. She talks about Uz and Chow. She talks about the place at night where the monsters come out, and he's just calm. He's like, yeah, that's nice, cool. Is everyone in Camden, Maine used to be in Fromland? Is like everyone in this town are former From residents that escaped?
He was too cool for the shit she said. Like you don't say all that stuff. to somebody and just smiling. Okay, can I see what's inside of your lunch pail?
Yeah,
Can I see your snacks? How hungry are you, dude? Why do you want to see her snacks so bad? He wanted to see a different type of snack from her. I'm telling you, the priest was hot for her. That okay, can I see your snacks, girl? I mean, you don't say that to somebody. Oh, let me see these snacks Victor packed for you. Victor packed, let me see your snacks. That's not a very, you don't say that. I have never seen anybody
Can I
carry
see your snacks, baby?
somebody a Dunkin' Donut bag and said, could I see what you got in there? You say you got the with the sprinkles? Can I see those sprinkles up in there? You sprinkling motherfucker? No, you don't do that. No one says that shit, right? But the priest is a little wild right there. He was wilding out.
He was putting it on the line right there for sure. And he wants the snacks. It's crazy. She opens it up and she opens the box and she opens his box. He opens her box. No, the box gets open and there's an address in there and she goes, holy shit, same town. It's Victor's old address. So we go to Elgin and Tilly sitting. Tilly's being a little sketchy, telling him to sleep. And Elgin's like, something's watching me, but I can't remember it. And she asks what it is essentially. And she goes, is it that thing? And she points and it's the scary vision thing that we get, scary ghost Fatima or not ghost Fatima.
It is Fatima, guys.
And he wakes up.
That's Fatima, man. I'm telling you, it has to. Tilly is definitely suspect. Let me say this.
Right? Are you finally on Tilly's?
I'm be honest. I didn't see it. I didn't see the suspect Tilly, but now
she's on the list.
She's on the list because she is just Johnny on the spot when it comes to this baby. It's like she is there 2 goddamn months, like she's monitoring this situation with this baby. There's something going on with Tilly's old ass. Something's happening there with her. I do not trust Tilly.
Did Tilly activate Elgin's dream? I mean, I think she have anything to do with it? Was she? Well, what's the Christopher Nolan movie? Did she inception him?
Yeah, is she the one projecting these things to these people? She have that ability to do that because she's like, is that her? She seemed pretty scary, you know. And then all of a sudden, Elgin comes and we see this chick, and this chick is soaking wet right here. She looks like she was at a puffy party the way she came out there. Goddamn it, she came from the Diddy party over here to see Elgin and stuff. The way this chick, you know, they say the Diddy party you have to get an IV after that. Chick need that. She probably skipped before the IV got involved.
Yeah, at least. Okay, so we get into, because we're almost done with the recap here, and our phone lines are open, but we're just going to finish up the recap, and then everyone can call in. But we're pretty much done here because this is our final scene here. Donna, Kenny, and Mom and Boyd are talking about the stolen food and the animals. Donna's freaking out and because they want to kill the animals, but Boyd's like, we got to have a plan. We got to, you know, be smart about this. Kenny's mom says we got to grow small crops, place soil in different spots, make sure the dirt isn't destroyed, and the cows can last a month. They need them to last 3 months, whatever. They mention goats, and Ethan sees it and runs out. Then we see Boyd and Ethan, and they have an interesting conversation about not killing the animals and convinces them to kill the animals. And then this was kind of a cheesy Disney Channel kind of scene, but and he was like, can you kill my goat first so it doesn't have to feel? It was a nice scene. It was very, very feel good. It was a feel good scene. Off to Tabby at Victor's house. Victor's dad comes there drunk or something, not in the mood. He yells, he goes, get out of here, not again. And he sees Victor's lunchbox and he says, where'd you get it? Where'd you get it? And we meet Victor's father. I mean, is there anything more to say about Victor's?
Only more that I told you it was Victor's father.
Exactly. And this is we got to give Tony all of his flowers here. He's called that this guy is Vic's dad the whole fucking time.
And you know, and I know people were telling me, oh, he's too young. He's too young. I told you, man. The pictures don't lie. You can look. No one puts baby pictures of their wife. If people say it was Eloise's wife, no one puts baby pictures of your wife up on the wall. No one does that. It's not the way it goes and stuff. You know, it doesn't go like that. No. And everything else. You know, so when you're also dealing with the whole final scene that we're talking about here and everything else, again, they set up Ethan's path to opening the door. I don't agree with the door opening, but they did set the path up. He
should have held the damn door, Tony. Okay, so we already talked about this next scene, which is Kenny and Jim and the spider webs and being like, Jim's like, I'm leaving. I can't deal with spider webs. And one of the creatures, now we start final scene, end game night thing. One of the creatures lets the cows out, the hottie and the milky one, and they start fucking with the animals. They open the barn door. They set this whole thing up. They want to get Boyd in the barn door, obviously. And we go off to Boyd, and Boyd's having a few drinks. Jade wakes up. Him and Jade have a really fun conversation, like a good, real, like moment where it feels like two real humans hanging out, having some booze. Jade isn't ready to talk yet, but they're not doing it. And they look outside and they see animals in the street. Tony, we're in this situation, you and I, getting drunk in Fromville. We see the animals in the street, even though people are going starving. Do you go outside and save these animals?
Hell no.
Hell
to the no. I'd be like those animals. I would be like, they ain't fuck with these animals since all the time I've been here. We'll get them in the morning.
Something's up.
We'll get them in the morning.
Spider, ding, ding, ding. Spider sense. Why are the animals suddenly out when we're suddenly out of food? We can't find more food if we're dead. Let's not go outside at night.
Yeah, it's a poor decision by Boyd all around. There's no way to give Boyd a pass on this. It was a stupid move. Number one, he runs out the house, takes the talisman out, and forces Jade to come with him. Right. Nope. That's number one. Now, if you want to go out there and risk your ass for a cow, but the fact that you took the talisman, which forces Jade out, that's not cool, bro. That's not cool. That's not leadership.
It's a trap.
That's not the way it goes. You know what I mean? You should have never done that. You know what I'm saying? And that was it. You see Victor and them, they all jump. Victor jumps out, and Kenny's mom jump out there. They tell the kids to stay inside. Like, they don't go out if Boyd don't go out.
Seriously, dude. And who wasn't yelling at the TV at that point in their best Admiral Akbar voice? It's a trap. It's a trap. It was a fucking trap. And I know we have the freedom, the God's eye perspective of all of this, but even in the moment, even in Fromville, it's a damn trap. All the goats and the sheeps are out there. Vic is like, we gotta go before the bad things come. And Victor and Kenny's mom go out to help, and they all go try to get things back in the barn. Randall wakes up too and sees what's happening, but at least he's smart enough not to actually go outside. But he sees the monsters, he sees the plan, he sees them flanking them, and he starts beeping the horn and being like, he might be a blowhard.
And puts the light on. Someone in my comment section said, did the monsters get affected by light like Alan Wake? If anyone's played that game, you could see
Gremlins.
You could hit him with the light. Obviously, she hit him with the high beams and nothing happened to him. Light does not affect them.
They just kept coming, Tony. And then and then we get, as Tony's alluded to this a few times, but now's the time to let him have it. We love you. You're a great actor. We were talking about the character. Ethan, dumbass, what did you do, my friend? You know what this place is. You're old enough to know what this place is. He sees Goatsy outside. He sees Goatsy run past the window, and we all speculated, why was he opening this door? And I think we all tried to rationalize and come up with reasons why it was okay. Maybe it was his grandmom's face. Maybe it was Tabitha's voice. Maybe X, Y, and Z. No, he saw Goatsy, and he opened the door in the middle of the night, in the middle of zombie night, when he knows that there's monsters outside. And Grandma's just sitting there right there. Tony, how stupid is Ethan?
This is why there's not black mothers in this show. Because if there were black mothers in this show in there with Ethan, the shoe would have flew like a boomerang to the back of Ethan's neck and knocked him unconscious, and she would have put the shoe back on. Fuck that goat boy. What you talking about? But no black mom in there. Black mom would have had that motherfucker. It's like that other chick. Can we let yourself in? Now the black mother, that would have been it. Goddamn, it would have never happened like that. Goddamn it, y'all know. And abuelas, the Spanish grandmothers, they known for that shit too, guys.
My Italian would have been wooden spooning my ass right there, like before I even move, I'd get that wooden spoon across my ass, Tony. Oh my!
They know for that shit. Now that shit would not have went down.
But Tony, I do want to. Is it the way that they're showing the monsters and the creatures in the situation, or was it an active choice that Grandma opens the door, has a moment where she could go at them, but seems to meander in there and more into scaring everybody and creating a distraction rather than killing anybody in this moment?
I thought the Grandma Monster's face was so funny when she got it. She was like,
ha ha.
Like she opened that door, she was like, "You motherfuckers trying to close this door on me."
Yeah.
Like, we close this door.
Waka waka, you know. But they head outside, and Sarah ends up helping them.
She throws that spoon like a ninja star. They do.
Yeah, the wooden spoon, the nano
Jessica says my girl would have got that wooden spoon.
Yeah, the wooden spoon. Everyone knows the wooden spoon. Someone says the boomerang sandals for sure. Yeah, Tony.
I'm trying to tell you, they don't. Listen, I understand why they did it with Ethan. I would have preferred them to do a mimic voice. Yeah. If they would have mimicked the mom voice or anything, they did set it up with the goat. And it's funny because I talked to Real about this yesterday because we went through the poster and they have the goat in the poster.
Oh, goatsy's in the boat.
And I was like, why is the goat in the poster? And the poster, everything's significant in the poster. So I said specifically, why is this goat in the poster? And he was telling me the goat, he goes deep. Like the goat dignifies evil and this and that, which it could and everything else, and I feel him. But this must be why the goat was in the poster, because this is the goat caused.
Yeah, the goat caused
death here. Not necessarily Boyd called that, but I guess this is why they put that goat in that poster.
So as there's a mad race to get the animals.
Wait, nonfiction said, "Damn spoiler."
I think it was a joke.
I got it. The show is over. It's 10:16.
So Ethan opens the door. He says, "My goatsy's outside. I gotta play." Sarah helps them outside to hide. So we get a mad race with the animals to get them away, and the milkman's coming up, and he kills the cow right in front of Jade. And Victor comes and grabs Jade, and says, "You gotta get out of here!" And the monsters are screaming. And Tony, we mentioned this a little bit earlier. I don't know if there's any significance. After everything, they're also almost putting on a show, like stopping and screaming more often too.
Someone dropped a spoiler. What do you mean spoiler for what? Upcoming episodes or something like that? What do you mean spoiler? For this episode, upcoming episodes, everyone who's a mod who's in here, you have the right to whack people. You have a hitman in there. I expect y'all to whack these people. You can time them out and everything. You know what I mean? If someone's putting upcoming episode spoilers, whack them. Whack them. I'm not there, so I can't do it. But that's why I made y'all mods. Whack them. Whack them. All right. That's the bottom line. Get them. Whack them. Yeah. Who is the person? Give me that person's name who did that. Let me know about that.
Yeah, let Tony know. Tony or me know. Add us their name, and we'll get them the hell out of there. Sorry about that. We thought you were talking about spoilers go into the box. We thought you guys were talking about one of us said something that we indirectly spoiled something. Okay, so there's a mad race with the animals to get them away, and Milkman comes up and kills the goat right in front of them all, and Victor comes and grabs Jade, and all the monsters are really screaming. And I said this before, I don't know if there's any significance to them screaming. Maybe we'll examine this more later on, but it seems like they were screaming more tonight than they ever had before. And I don't know if it's a way of distracting people, a way of something's happening to them physiologically changing or something like that. I don't know. So we see Julie, Sarah, and Ethan running, and Randall lets them in the bus. And then we see Victor and the boy trying to get the animals in the barn. Kenny's mom comes over. Boyd's trying to push a cow into the barn, and Kenny's mom comes over to try to help him out. And Boyd at first is like, "No, don't help me. Don't help me." And she's like, "No, we do this together. We do this together." And this is one of those moments, Tony, that if she doesn't help, what are their plan? What is their plan? We talked about this earlier. If she listens to Boyd and walks away, and Boyd pushes the cow into the barn himself, and she goes away, how do they break Boyd? But I mean, they don't. But it's an interesting question that if they had some other plan, if they would have grabbed him and told him what they were going to do, kidnap somebody else, who knows?
Yeah. What was the actual plan? If the plan was to get Boyd out there, they must know Boyd is stupid to do this, right? And if they were waiting in there, were they waiting to kill Boyd specifically, or when something else happened, did they say, "Oh, let's adjust, and now that we got somebody else in here and everything else"?
And what does happen is, bam, he locks the door, puts up the talisman, thinks everything's going to be all right, and Cowboy comes out of there like Vern Schillinger in Oz. "Oh, listen, kid, I thought you said this place wouldn't break you." And they grab her, and he struggles for a bit. The handcuffs fall down. One of them slices him right on his gunshot wound, and he goes to the ground, and then they they handcuff him, and he starts yelling, "Kill me!" And the guy says, "Kill me? Kill you? I won't kill you. That's not going to be fun, Tony. That's not going to be fun." And then they just start ripping her open in front of him, as we've all heard his speech, the same as in the teaser that we heard. And she's saying things. I heard the translation of what she's saying that you can't understand. She's saying something like, Kenny's going to be all alone. Kenny's going to be all alone. So in that moment, she's worrying about Kenny. And we see probably the most horrifying death that we've seen on the show so far, Tony. And of the character we love getting ripped apart, and the episode ends on her screams, and that's the end of our episode.
It is it over? Like, it went to black, Tony Soprano style. Are they going to show more? Because she's obviously the body inside of the basket, right? And I'm not talking about Buffalo Bill with the lotion, right? She's obviously, and in that basket, when we see those feet, that foot fucked up. You know what I mean? So are we going to see more? Are they going to start off again with that scene? And we're going to see more of the killing? Because it was horrifying. I mean, it ripped his hair out of his scalp, and the way we heard it was crazy. But are they going to actually show more? What do you think?
I don't know. I have a feeling they're going to come in on the aftermath of that, and like come in on people finding them in there where the monster's gone and Boyd's still handcuffed and her body ripped apart. I think that would probably be the strongest way. And especially imagine if the person that finds them is Kenny. And hello, Greek girl. Great to see you in the live chat. And I'm putting the phone number in the chat. If you guys want to call on in, the phone number is
781-990-8509 is the number to call in. 781-990-8509. We want to hear from you. We have almost 400 people strong watching us right now. We appreciate everybody out here.
And at least 20 of those people are from me. Thank you, everybody. Area code
That's
2,
right.
We got our first call. Area code 252. What's your name? Where are you calling from? And what's your question?
What's going on, Phil? This is Baby Clay. YT, I was just in y'all chat. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you great. What's going on, my friend?
All right. I got some. This is what I want to say. It's not really a question, it's a statement. You excuse my nose.
I don't know. But just don't get us sick. Just don't get us sick.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But I wanted to say Ethan's foreshadowing is giving me like psychic vibes. Like how he said told Boyd, hey, can you make sure Elma goes first? Because I don't want her to see her friends die. And Boyd and Mrs. Ten there, and he has to watch his friend die.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird that, Ethan is kind of a stupid ass kid, but you got to listen to what he says.
Yeah, he does seem more. No, that's a great point. He does seem more locked into this place than people think. So you kind of actually have to pay attention to the things he's saying. And then all those conversations, I saw someone else talking about this too in some post. It might have been a Reddit post. Like Ethan, if you listen to him, he's kind of the one saying everything. Like he knows exactly what's going on here in some ways. If you just listen to him.
Yeah, I think we
judge him off his actions and not judging him based off what he says. You know what I'm saying? But I feel as though Ethan, with all this foreshadowing, this isn't the only time he has foreshadowed in an episode. He's done this multiple times. So I think in that case, they're trying to show us, hey, Ethan is more locked in than what y'all think he is.
Yeah. Great call, Tony.
Yep, that's all I wanted to say, buddy.
Tony, what do you think the caller was saying?
Yeah, I think that it's the same thing when we deal with House of the Dragon. You deal with Helena, and she's got all these prophecies and all these predictions, and no one's even listening to this chick. They think she's crazy, even though everything she says, the prediction comes true. It's the same thing with Ethan. But when you look at Ethan, he's a little kid, so no one's taking him seriously for anything he's saying, even though saying it's a quest. Is this? But we do see sometimes, like when Jade talks to him, Jade listens to him. He doesn't initially do it. But then when Ethan says something to Jade, he's like, okay.
Yeah, he kind of he starts to get it.
You know what I mean? So I do think that some people might pick up on it, just not his own family.
Right. And I think partially because it's that thing too. Like when you have someone in your family that has like a musical skill or a talent, like out of all the people later in life, when other people like you, then your family catches up. But the hardest people to get to watch my stuff or come to my play or listen to my song are my family. Once other people like it, then some of my family was, oh, other people like it, I'll check that out. So sometimes the closest people to you don't necessarily appreciate your specialness as much because they just look at you as, oh, my little brother or my little son or something. It's not a negative thing. It's just how someone views you in that way. We missed this call, but someone left a voicemail of it. So let me play the voicemail.
Hi, this is John Taylor. I'm calling from Calabasas, California. I actually had not necessarily questions, and this is my first time ever calling.
Welcome, John.
Two things. So one, I do believe the ambulance cop that gets out is Victor's sister. I do believe that.
What did he say? The what?
And
he said, I can pause this. He says the ambulance cop will be Victor's sister.
Okay, go on.
Like when they're in the church and she's coming out of confession, if you look up to the top right, you'll see Psalm 104, verse 1920. And if you look that up, it's actually pretty interesting. I just want to know what you guys think about that.
Interesting. Okay, let me see if I can do that.
What happens in 2107?
I don't know. You call back at 808. John Taylor, 808.
Yeah,
call
what
in.
is that? I will say this. I've never heard them say that anyone say that the cop is Victor's sister. I think her name is Acosta. It sounds very Latin. Now, again, we heard that, the Latin Tabitha was Victor's sister's child. I don't know. She has her own name by the actress, like who's playing her. They have a name for her there, and it's Acosta. Are they just using that for a dummy name and it's really Eloise? I don't think so. So for that reason, I would say this is Acosta. She's a new character. I don't think that it's his sister.
We shall see. And the phone lines are open. We also missed one other call. So whoever that other person was calling in, 781-990-8509.
And again, if you call in and someone's on the phone and you don't get it, there's always a chance you could leave a voicemail.
Yeah,
we will play all the voicemails that are left too. So if we don't get through or someone else is on the phone, definitely do that and everything else.
But I think we might have missed a couple of people are committing home invasions for food. Randall tries to take the goat. Maybe Boyd thought someone was trying to get the food. So I just a couple of our super chats that we might have missed.
Yeah, I mean, the home invasion for food. I understand why you would do that. Like that's different than taking a goat when you have no way to butcher the goat or do anything to the goat. Going somewhere and getting a jar of goddamn Franken beans or some Chef Boyardee. That's different. You could work with that. You can't. What are you gonna do with the goat? You can't work a goat. There's nothing you can do. It just doesn't make any sense.
And I only can think about dirty things he's gonna be doing with the goat. Do you think the animals in the food? This is from Luna. Do you think the animals in the food for $5 super chat? Thank you. Do you think the animals in the food Kenny and Jim found could belong to the mystery cabin people? I don't know. Maybe. And we'll get back to that question in a second, Luna. But this is our buddy from 808. John, thank you for the voicemail. John, explain more your points.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, big fan, by the way, man. I think you guys are great. Teflon, you're the man.
Thank you.
All right, so when she comes out of confession and Tabitha is talking to the priest, I saw a number up to the top right, and it said 104, and then it said 19:20. Now, when I looked up this, it was actually a Bible verse, and it's actually Psalm 104, chapter 19:20. And 19 says, "He made the moon to mark the season, and the sun knows when to go down. You bring darkness; it becomes night, and all the beasts of the forest cry." And that is a Bible verse to the top right of the church when she comes out, right when she does confession. I just Googled that this morning after watching church, and I just thought that was very interesting. Just curious what you guys thought about that.
Listen, that's the stuff I love. Things like that. Now that sounds like it's purposely put in there again.
Yeah.
Did you get it, Phil? So we could read it again, so people can know exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
It's Psalms what?
It's definitely Psalms 104, verse 19:20. He made the moon to mark the season, and the sun knows when to go down. 20 is you bring darkness, it becomes night, and all the beasts of the forest prowl.
Yeah, it can't.
Yeah, that can't be on.
Can't be coincidence.
That can't be coincidence.
It says he made the moon to mark the seasons, and the sun knows when to go down. I mean, highlights God's role as the creator and the sustainer of all things. And then verse 20 is saying Palms 104 highlight. It says that Palms 104 is a palms that highlights God's serenity over creation and the order and the rhythm of the world that is created. So I would now I wouldn't take that to mean that God is created, but whoever has created this world.
Yeah,
it pays homage to the people who has created this world and everything else. So I think you're 100% right on that, man.
That's a good pickup.
I think that's a great guy.
Hey, listen, if not for listening to you guys and watching you guys, man, my imagination wouldn't run that deep. But you guys definitely have most of us, and I'm sure the cast as well. You guys have us really looking for basically Easter eggs, you know, and it makes it really fun.
Yeah,
you know, so I appreciate what you guys do, because you guys truly dissect, you know. And man, look, I got a full-time job, and I'm always listening to you guys, and man, it just makes it fun, you know. So definitely appreciate what you guys do, and I'll continue to watch the show. If I catch anything at all, I'll continue to share.
Yeah, and, you better call back in. Call back in next week.
100%.
Hey, thank you. Hey, thanks, guys. Take good care.
All right, it's Psalms, not Palms. Y'all leave me alone, man.
You know what we made. Come on.
God damn it. I don't want to hear it. We got super chat. We got five memberships that were gifted by my man Fernandez T. All right, and we have
I want to go stay at the Palms in Vegas, Tony.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. We got area code 901. Area code 901. What's your name? What's your question or comment? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's up, man? My name's CJ. I'm calling from Nashville, Tennessee. Watch just about almost every episode, so I'm a big fan. First time calling in, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just wanted to say, just wanted to mention, you know, when Boyd actually confronted Randall, you know, he had Ellis beside him too, so he wasn't alone there with the whole you know, situation.
Listen, when he was inside of the thing, he yoked Randall up. Didn't he yoke Randall up already?
Yeah, well, Ellis looked at him and said, "Hey, man, just give him the goat." So I mean, he
did kind of say, "Yeah, just give him the goat."
he did say it, but I'm saying when they were inside that thing when they were inside the place with Donna last year, didn't he back Randall down then too?
Oh, that's right. Yep, yeah, that is right. Yeah. And then also here, yeah, man, just this season, the video, the imagery, you know, just everything we've seen as far as the graphics just seem like they've upped everything up. I mean, we've, you know, the camera angles of, you know, I forget the lady's name, coming out of the hospital. She's like following the kid in Boy in White, and everything's like picturesque. And
dude, that's an excellent point.
Is Boy in White? You know, are you guys thinking he's good or bad there? Because I mean, if you're saying he led them to Victor's dad, I mean, is that a good thing?
I don't know if he led it to Victor's dad. I think the Boy in White is evil. I've said it millions of times. I don't think he's good at all. So I don't think anything he does with the intention for it working out for anyone but himself. What do you think about the Boy in White, Phil?
I think the Boy in White at best is nefarious and selfish and kind of figuring out his own agenda, whether it's the agenda is evil or not, or to keep people there or escape. I don't think the Boy in White cares about anything but what his initial agenda is to figure things out. The other thing, caller, I wanted to mention that you made mention of that. I'm not sure if I said earlier, but I agree. Did they get more money this season? Because everything looks better. Like everything looks really good in this episode. Visually, like the monsters look, the special effects and the monsters look a little bit smoother. The camera angles, as you mentioned, caller, look incredible. Like even the texture of the film grain looks better. Like everything just looks really sharp. And I don't know if it's they got a higher budget or they're just getting better at what they're doing. But I feel like this episode looked the best that's ever looked too. I don't know about what you guys thought.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree. I mean, it's been pretty nice. I love how the first episode capped off. But I mean, I guess finally, Tony, you've been pretty flawless on all your predictions. So I kind of going in expected everything that was going to happen. But you alluded to the footsteps outside of Jim's little log cabin camp in your video. I was wondering if we're going to get that later, the answer to that, and another video, or
Yeah, I'll have that video out tomorrow. I'll tell you exactly. I know exactly. I have a feeling. I know what's going on there. So we're gonna see. We're gonna put that video out there tomorrow and stuff.
All right, cool, sounds good. But yeah, hey, appreciate you guys having me. I mean, you guys are great. Keep it up. Love the show, and you guys are, like I said, man, you guys are calling it out like it is. So having a great time.
That's what it is. I represent Nashville. I'm in Nashville every year, baby.
Nashville's great.
I love Nashville. I'm there every year. Let me go through some of these super chat. Nonfiction says, so Tabitha equals Criminal and Victor Lonely Dragon confirmed. I think so. I made up the theory. What do you think, Phil?
Was it so Tabitha equals Crominuncle and Victor Lonely Drought confirmed? I mean, it's certainly seeming like that from everything we're seeing so far. And I like that particular theory. And I'm glad, Tony, I'm glad people in general, as the caller just said, and yes, I'm not one to, as in different cases, if I disagree with something Tony says or if Tony's wrong, I'll hold his foot to the fire, just like he'll hold mine to the fire. Yeah. But tonight is a night to give Tony his goddamn flowers. He was right about a lot of damn shit that happened in this episode.
Yeah, listen, it's all right. It's all right. We
give
get
Tony his damn flowers tonight.
We ought. J Mart says $5.
700 tonight, Tony. You're
I am. Barry Bonds up in this bitch right here. Did anyone notice how the scary kimono lady's hands were dripping with water? I don't think she's bad. I think she's trying to tell him something. The fact she hasn't, I mean, did she look like she was trying to drown him? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, was she saying like, hey, you need some water? You look parched.
Maybe she wanted to take him to water country and go on a wave pool or something. I don't know. Maybe it was a party. Maybe she wanted to, play with the water bong or something. Who knows?
Thank you for kind of little Etsy for becoming a member. And Kelly Johnson has been a member for a while. So that's why he shook when them creeps came out. I ain't shit. I'm not scared of the creeps or the freaks who come out at night. They can all come on out. I'm a Capricorn, bro. I understand that. Did we see that? I don't think we've seen that one.
Why do you think the monsters stepped their game up? They could have done the animal hide and seek years ago because Boyd called them out and Boyd killed one of them. When they all looked in that moment, there could have been interpreted that they were excited or happy that Smiley was dead. That was something I thought. Maybe they thought, oh wow, this is a way out. But no, they were like, holy shit, time to up our game. And it seems like whoever controls that, turn the meter up a little bit, turn their intelligent ratings up or whatever. But Tony, I think it's because, you kill one of us, we're going to up the game. You think you can't break it? You don't think you can be broken? Well, prove your ass wrong.
Exactly. And when he said that, when they go through the break, that's as soon as he comes out of the, the thing, no one was around him when he said that. He has said after that, these things don't break up, but they said specifically the words that he said, you can't fucking break me. And they said the fucking word. They're like, you said you can't fucking break it. Yeah. You said you can't. So it's from that time when he was all alone that they heard him say it, not the times he was saying it to the townspeople. It's that time. That's what they're going on and everything else.
Let's see if we missed any other super chats. Do you know what I wish that no, sorry, just about to go technical. I wish StreamYard had the same thing that the that regular YouTube had, where you could just look at every super chat and we could just scroll through all of them instead of having to scroll through the entire chat thing.
Exactly. But Sweet Pea for you, sir. Thank you so much, Sweet Pea. Thank you for sweet. Oh, I keep saying Sweet Pea. It is Sweet Pea. I'm thinking 1765. Thank you, Sweet Pea. I really appreciate it. Thank you. We truly appreciate you rocking with us. And again, if anyone is looking for the shirt that Don is rocking, the familiar shirt, the Teflon TV website is open. The link is in the description. And if you use the code Teflon10, you will save 10%. We have the Familia shirt. We have the Fremily shirt. We have the Que Sera. We have the Can't Break Me shirt, which y'all have seen me rocking already on it. We have the Can't Break Me shirt. We have all of them there. So go out there and get your shirt right now. Again, they're only limited quality, only running 50 of each shirt. So make sure you get out there and get those and everything else.
So BM says when Tabitha comes back and we most likely tell them about the hospital, I think, we already said this. Ellis and Fatima want to try to get to the hospital. Hard decision. In Camden, there's a huge rainbow wall at the flash sale. Oh no, I'm just trying to think if we, I think we have most of the super chats. I'm not sure if there's any more we missed. But
all right, we'll tell you, Luna, member for 24 months. Number one, Fatima's baby will kill her, but not as a demon birth, but will consume all of her life off. She was a beacon, but the baby will suck her dry. We talked about that a little bit earlier, about that exact same thing. I totally agree that is a good way. I mean, we see later on in the episode, it says that they have to make a tough decision. Ellis and Fatima have to make a tough decision.
Yep.
So we have to assume that has something to do with the baby, sucking her dry.
I don't want to go. I just pause. I don't want to go too far on the episode descriptions, but what two characters were talking Boyd out of the difficult, stupid thing he wanted to do? It was Ellis and Christy.
For what?
In one of the episode descriptions, it says Boyd's going to do something stupid, and then two characters try to talk him out of it.
Did it say two people? Or I don't know. I got to go through. I don't know if it said two people. Did it say two people?
I thought it said Ellis and somebody else try to talk sense into him. I wanted to see if it was Kenny, because then we could see if him and Kenny patch things up, see if it's a spoiler that him and Kenny don't talk. But we got a text from our good buddy at 808 who says, one last thing. Victor's father's license plate was 1976. His address was 1597, which is also 1975. Does that mean anything? I don't know if it means anything, but the numbers are always interesting. And
1976 could be the year Victor was born.
It's true. It could
no, it would be too young. He's 50 years old, so he had to be born like
that would be like my age.
1972, 1973, around there. I would think he would have to be.
Yeah, he's a little older than I.
And what up, Fatima? I'm fine. What up, Fatima? Thank you for joining us. No, you're never late. You're always right on time.
Exactly, the right time.
And all that good stuff. Yeah, I again, when this dealing with the episode as a whole, I think the episode as a whole was an amazing episode. To me, it's a top 2 episode of all time. Like, what would go over this episode? Maybe episode 1. That's about it, though, right?
Yeah, the premiere. A couple of those early episodes, maybe the porn stash episode, I remember being really good. I'd have to rewatch 1, and I'm very much, and I think I'm okay being hyperbolic and being a victim of the moment. And right now, I'm like, that was my favorite episode of the show I've ever seen. And that's how I want to feel in a premiere after a show being gone for a year. You want to feel when you're watching, like, this was the best episode I saw. And I don't think, and what's cool about this, Tony, is, when you see someone do something, like whether it's a musician or an athlete, and you're like, that's only a quarter of what they can do, and it's still awesome. Like the bass player is just going boom, 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 but it still sounds cool, but he can go blah, 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 blah. And I think this season, what's awesome about this episode is I don't feel like this is the best they can do either. I feel like this is just the start. Like,
there's so much more that, especially but it's
like they're starting with this. Imagine where this season is going if they're starting with this.
Yeah, if this is their opening salvo, and again, when you do an opening episode, and again, I expect a filler episode or 2. Every season has it, right? You got to build the story up. I expect that. But when you do an opening salvo like this is just going. You just got to say this season is going to be extremely exciting. It has to, because to me, the invisible creature thing and all that, people couldn't go to sleep. That didn't really work for me. I didn't like that last year. I mean, they could maybe expand on it. They were talking, getting it set up for something big, but I didn't really like that threat. I didn't like the music box threat. It didn't really work for me last year.
I mean, Tony, when it comes, I didn't love the threat either, but I think the problem with the threat is that it ultimately didn't have teeth. If I could theoretically have a disagreement with you or a debate with you about that subject, because I didn't love it either. But if I wanted to do devil's advocate, but they would have needed to kill Randall, Marielle, or Randall. Probably, Julie, right. Marielle, or Randall. Julie specifically. I love you, Hannah. I want you on the show. You're awesome on it. But you needed to die in that moment for emotional reaction to that whole storyline. That storyline needed a final beat of a main character dying. And we didn't get that. And if beyond that, and I don't know how much of me not liking that storyline is the storyline or the fact that the outcome was everyone got away scot-free with just emotional damage. And I know I'm just saying just emotional damage, but you know what I mean? Like I wanted more. I wanted an actual death.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was the problem with it, that no one died from it of any consequence. And I think you see them right now fixing that by taking out Miss Lou in the first episode. Right. I think they realized that and they said, all right, y'all want death. We're going to give you the death. I didn't want her to go, though. Like, God damn it, y'all could have picked somebody else. You know what I mean? But again, I do believe that Miss Lou's death will not be in vain. I think it comes a time where you push people to the edge. We heard Kenny already say sometimes you got to go on offense. I think he's going to come back and see his mother. And again, we have the Boyd dynamic. Will he blame Boyd for it? Will it be Boyd's fault? Will the town start to blame Boyd for its stupid decision that he made to go out there and save these cows and everything else? Or
was he drunk? Were you supposed to think that Boyd was drunk and made that decision in a drunk moment?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just so dumb. And again, as I said, to take the talisman and put Jade in there is just selfish.
And there again, I don't want to undervalue the fact that, yeah, we can all have a couple of drinks and have fun, but they were both drinking real alcohol, not that stupid shit that they make there. They had like real booze.
And you know what I liked about that scene when they showed Smug Jade wipe the bottle before he put the lips to it?
Yeah, he totally did.
He took it, he wiped it off before they took it.
Like you're in fucking from
like I like you, boy, but I don't like you that much. It could be COVID out here.
Someone asked if I think the music box will come back. I think the music box stuff is gone. I don't think we'll see it again. I think he smashed it and that won't come back.
Yeah, I think that's so. Kelly Johnson says, "Why T go running on them Nikes when them creatures?" I told you I don't run, bro. That's not the way it rides. I'm not that dude. I'm from Queens, New York, Capricorn, bro. I don't run from nothing. Period. And I'm a lawful carrier. Concealed character. So no, Don ain't running. That ain't running. Did he just say save the cows? Yeah, I did. He did try to save the goddamn cows, bro. And there's no sense of saving the cows. Listen, what them cows doing? Let them cows walking around. They ain't going nowhere. It's a cow.
Great Balls of Fire said, "Did he say just the cows?" Yes, he did. Great Balls of Fire.
Yeah, man. What are you talking about? Yeah, I goddamn said it. And they are not worried about. Y'all worried about stuff that shouldn't be worried about. You know what I mean? You ain't got to worry about them goddamn cows. Oh, them cows would have just been there. I'd be like, oh, we get them motherfuckers in the morning. Where they going? Where them cows going? They ain't going nowhere. It didn't matter. You stay inside the house, man. As Phil said earlier, if everyone dies, what does it matter about the cow?
Yeah, seriously. Like if everyone dies, you can't look for more food. So why the hell go outside? In that moment, I don't want to blame it on the booze again because it's an easy out. But Boyd couldn't have been logically thinking in that moment. I know you're panicking about running out of food, and that's the last thing you have. But still, it's still at night and you're not no pun intended, Tony. You're not Teflon. These guys can get you. They're out there. Come on.
100%. It was just a bad decision made by Boyd and everything else. So, but the fallout from that we'll see. And hopefully what I do believe the galvanization. I think it's time to taking the fight to the creatures. Shadow Shinobi said, y'all notice Boyd crutching his left arm again. Yes, you did. What do you think that
is it the bullet wound, right? Still?
Is it the bullet wound he was holding, or was it the Parkinson's shake?
That's a good question. I was thinking it was the bullet wound stuff that he was taking care of, like cleaning up the wounds and shit like that. But or maybe I didn't see the Parkinson shake moment. Maybe I wasn't.
I know he was holding the arm. It's one or the other, you know. But I do think most likely it's the Shakespeare. We got glue, guns, and roses in the building rocking with us right now. She said a lot of the online theories were spot on, except Ethan opening door for fucking go.
Fucking go.
That one theory. Who would guess that? You know what I mean? I don't think anyone can guess that thing and everything else.
No. And Tony, I will reiterate again. You were doing mental gymnastics to take Ethan off the hook there in that trailer. You're like, Ethan maybe he's hearing Tabitha. It looks like his grandma. It looks like something happens. Ethan would not just open the door. He understands the situation. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but like and I was with you. I was like, we went through some mental gymnastics to defend Ethan, and he opened it for a fucking goat.
Yeah, you're correct. Yeah, that's a goddamn goat. Made no sense. Yeah, straight up. Tony,
not the greatest of all time, Tony. He didn't open it for the greatest of all time.
No, I wasn't at the door. Goddamn it! He said Tony had the same thing. Those animals weren't going. They ain't going fast, and the small ones, the chickens and stuff, those monsters can't catch them. Nonfiction says there wasn't an eclipse. Yes, we know that was a popular theory put forth by our boy Taryn that there was going to be an eclipse. No eclipse on the first episode. Doesn't mean there won't be one, though.
Exactly.
Still, it's a long season. Could be an eclipse coming. So let's not just sell that theory short yet and everything else. Let's not. It still could be something else coming. You never know. This not this time and stuff. We have over 400 people in this chat rocking with the Don Tony Teflon Phil Issues Guy escaping from podcast where you can find it on Apple and everything else. So if you want to listen to this later on in your car, you can go to Apple, wherever Phil puts it.
Yeah, wherever you find your podcasts, we'll be there. We'll be there.
We'll be there. We'll be up in there and everything else. Luna, got.
I was just gonna say, and if you guys are listening to the podcast and you're not checking us out live because you can't check us out live, but you still want to get your question or comment in, you can call that phone number 781-990-8509, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and just leave a voicemail. You'll never disturb anybody. So you can even drunk dial it. You're out at a bar drunk and you're thinking about this crazy from theory. Call our hotline, leave it in, and we'll play it either on one of these shows or one of our Wednesday shows. And yeah, do it.
Yeah, 400 people here and 213 likes is not good enough. Somebody's got to go and get these likes up. Come on, people. Let's get these likes up here. We got to have it over at least 370.
And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to Teflon TV. If you're one of the folks over on my channel, subscribe to Teflon TV. We got to get Tony to 100,000, get me to 20,000, and we just need to get it done. So make sure if everyone that's in there, you're subscribed to both of us right now.
Yes, without a doubt. Crystal Dorton says boys operated out of fear, just like Kenny said. 100%. You are correct on that. He definitely did operate out of fear. Golden Child is saying, what's the discount code again? Teflon 10 is the discount code when you go there to buy one of these beautiful Familia shirts. Rock the Familia shirt. You know what I mean? People got the Familia shirt, right? And people rock that. So no one made that. We made this. I made this up for y'all. All right? No one thought of that. That's brand new shit right there. No Frumily. Right, we got the Frumly shirts for you, but we got that stuff. But make sure you hit that like button. Let's get those up and everything. Well, up to my girl Anna up in the picture, the Red Lipstick Club. Just finished watching. Damn, that was crazy. Hello, Teflon TV fam and Phil. What's going on, Shorty? Glad that you could rock with us as always. Love seeing you. It was a crazy good episode. Everything else was good. East Dakota is saying, do you think the crows are shapeshifters watching and listening from the trees? What do you think, Phil? Shape-shifting crows?
Interesting. I think they're more the eyes of Saruman. Like, I think they're more like pawns, more drones of sorts for whatever is the vibe I get from the crows. Like a security system to if people think this black smoke monster from Lost. I think the crows are a security system of some sort that sets up like a defense system.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they were some type of they were able to shape change into these crows and stuff. It wouldn't be shocking to me, but I don't know if that's the way they're gonna go with this show. Again, I believe this show is 100% science fiction based. I think you will see elements of supernatural stuff, and it's going to make people come on this stream and other streams and say, "I told you, Teflon supernatural," but in the end, it will be proven to be science. I think that's the way it's going to go in the end. But I do think you're going to see a lot of elements of stuff that look supernatural in the beginning, but when the show ends, you'll see that it was all this.
Right, it will all sort of be described, and we'll all get some sort of scientific explanation.
Let me ask you this question, Phil.
Yes, sir.
Since we've seen other people talking to other people who have passed away, do we see Kenny start talking to his mother?
Interesting. Has Kenny... Okay, so who have we seen talk to people so far? We've seen Boyd. We've seen Jade. talk to people, and Tabitha talk to people, right? Anybody else besides
Tabitha just seeing the kids. She ain't actually speaking to them.
they tried to talk to her. They just can't speak her language.
Yeah, their vocabulary sucks.
Right. They haven't really talked to someone in a while. It just came out as you know, like they were trying to talk to her, Tony. You know, there was some communication going on there. We'll say that half. So anybody else that we've seen actually talk to people that aren't there?
No, baby girl. Let me highlight this real quick. It says Kenny doesn't talk to his dad, but his dad's not a major character in the show, right? His dad is not as major as his mother. That's why I think we can not say if he did talk to his dad didn't really speak good English. It really wouldn't have worked for that character, but his mother would be a whole different situation.
Tony, I think the real question or the answer I have for you is I think we're more likely to see Boyd talk to her.
You think Father Khattri's going and she's coming
or
over
both different times. He talks to different people at different times. Maybe he starts talking to all the people that died and all the his conscience for all the people he lost.
See, I couldn't have that because if they came to me like, say I was in, say I had the, I had a crazy, I was in the house, you in your crib, you're doing something, you're having fun with your lady or something like that. All of a sudden, Father Khatri just come out there sitting at the stool. A Tom just come out there.
Say, hey, what's up?
Yeah, Tom just come from behind you and stuff like that. I can't have the people coming up on me like that.
Someone says Sarah speaks to the dead too. Does Sarah speak?
I'm talking when we're saying the physical imagery of someone from the show.
Right. We've like actually talking to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Physical imagery of someone talking on the show. So, do you think that you don't believe that Kenny is going to?
No, I don't think so. I don't. I think Kenny's gonna have a very different path. I don't think he talks to Ghost Mom.
All right. Again, y'all can call in your questions. You got questions in the chat. Don't be afraid to call in. Phil, what's the number?
781-990-8509. I'll put that in the chat too. Anyone else has any questions? We'll be on for a little bit more.
Luna says Elgin has premonitions that foretell. What's the connection between Elgin and the crows? Elgin wears a crow t-shirt. It's not a crow. It's that red. I know what bird it is. I looked it up. It's not exactly a crow because it has
a raven.
No, it has those little red wings underneath. The little tiny birds and stuff. I have them out here all the time. I see them. I forgot the name of it. I think it's mostly scientific with some supernatural elements like Elgin and Sarah. Quite possibly could be all of it. Quite possibly could be both. It could be that. I don't know if he has any connection to the crows because I don't think that they're crows. They're not robins there. They got the little redness in the wing, underneath the wing. The blackbirds were like a little red or orange underneath the wing. I forgot the name of it and everything else. I think Elgin, the big thing about Elgin, I would say about it would be, why does Victor not like Elgin? Why did he come in there? And Victor said straight off the bat, I don't like this dude.
Yeah, Victor got a bad mojo from him.
Why did he get that off of Elgin? Glue Guns and Roses says, wait, did Marielle have ghost visions? She did, didn't she? When the creature attacked, when the teacher attacked her, right? The creature.
And didn't she see like a fake Boyd? Didn't she have a vision where she saw Boyd, but it wasn't really Boyd?
She opened and the creature ran in after him, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So I understand that. I'm talking about specifically
1 second call.
Coming to talk to them to give them advice.
Yep.
Like we've seen Father Khatri and Tom do that. That's what I mean by it. Will Kenny get that now that his mother is dead?
Now, Tony, we have area code 518. 518. What's your name? What's your question? Where are you calling from?
Oh, my name is Anthony. I'm calling from Hudson, New York.
What's going on,
Anthony?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me turn down the volume.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was just I watched the premiere and everything, and I was just thinking like I was thinking about like how the Chinese lady had died. I was thinking like now Kenny's he's gonna have to get back for her.
Yep, he's gonna go crazy, and he's gonna get crazy angry and lose his cool and do something stupid. This isn't gonna break Boyd. This is gonna break Kenny.
Yeah, Do you remember when they the guy Jade, he threw a bottle out the window, and I think that's where they put the goats in. And I remember Boyd, he asked Boyd like, do you want me to patch up the window? I don't think he patched up the window, so you never know, they could possibly break in there, and you know.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess they want to crawl through the window and get in there and everything. I guess they could do that also. I don't know. Could they just go through the door if the window is open, or do they have to go through the window specifically because of the talisman?
Right. And if there's a hole in the bucket, is that a loophole to the talisman thing? And then can they just avoid the talisman altogether? And this is something that Tony was talking about earlier, not the caller, Tony, Tony, about the talisman. Boyd put the talisman up after they were in the barn when they were already in there, and it didn't matter. It's
once they're in there, they're in.
Once they're in, they're in.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. And I was also thinking about, like, you remember when the guy and the other Chinese guy, I forget his name. Oh, Kenny and the other dude, they went and, you know, they didn't stay in the spot that Boyd specifically told them to stay in.
Jim,
and they heard noise outside. What do you think going on with that? Like,
yeah, I think I know what's going on. I'm putting the video tomorrow.
Ooh, Tony with the teaser right there.
I'm dropping the video tomorrow. What's going on in those huts?
Interesting. But caller, thank you so much for calling in. We hope you call in next week. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
That's what's up. Drunk Bishop, thank you for becoming a member. Someone from the 518 upstate New York calling in from Hudson represent. I've been to Hudson. I go to Hudson. I've been to Hudson many a times. And that's right. Rip Tien Chen. You will get an opportunity to say rest in peace, Tien Chen, next week when she is on here live with the Don Tony Teflon and Phil the Issues Guy and with you. So make sure that you are going to be able to call in and ask her questions and show her the love that she deserves and stuff.
That is going to be awesome. And I'm glad we're going to get to talk to her, and we're going to get to show her some of the love, because this was a great episode for her just in general too. For an episode, and we'll talk more about with her next week. But for a last episode for her, if she doesn't come back in Ghost Visions and stuff like that, she got a lot of really good stuff to do in this episode, and she played it. It was a well put together scene with her and Boyd.
And man, Golden Child said, "I just copped the case of raw
yeah,
Thanks for the love, brother. Thanks for your love. Glad you like the work we did to put into those shirts and everything else, and all that. That's what's up. Again,
Tony,
take a picture with that shirt. Send it to me. Send me that picture on Facebook, man. I'm gonna put it up in there for you, man.
Tony, who discovers Boyd and her body? Is Kenny the one that discovers it in the barn?
No, and they too far.
Oh no, it's Jade. It's Jade, because
he's coming out with the cart.
It's Jade in the cart. Yeah, Jade. Oh, Tony, it's time for us to all relax and shut up. It's the voice of 916. Welcome, voice of 916. Take over the show, damn it.
Hello, this is the voice of 916.
Thank you.
Hi, so happy to hear from you.
Oh, did you miss me?
I did so much.
Oh, this episode was fire. No, it was just absolutely fire. But the reason I called is because, you know, when the monsters issued that challenge or answered the challenge about being broken, I don't think he was just focusing on Boyd, because if we looked at it, we'd see that, you know, the challenge will be for Boyd to keep people's faith in his leadership. And then Jade's going nuts because he can't figure out what's going on. So he's becoming obsessed and broken. Donna, who's known for her strength and resolve, she's crumbling. It's just a matter of time. And Fatima, her baby and her health are gonna definitely break her. And Kenny, lastly, the death of his parents, no telling how that's going to manifest. So, you know, I think that the broken theme is for all of our major characters, not just Boyd.
Now, everything you just said, could you say that again, please? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Good thing I wrote it down, Phil.
I'm kidding. Could you repeat that a little slower and say hi, Tony? No, I'm kidding. But yeah, you make some excellent
I'm gonna
points.
start smoking cigarettes and stuff.
Yeah, I'm blushing playing with my hair. I'm sorry.
Would you like me to say it's special for you, Phil?
Yes. It's been a tough week.
Don't say this special for him without me, God damn it. I agree with everything you're saying. That we have seen a lot of characters being broken, and I do think that that's the theme of this. It's not just Boyd; it's everybody being broken. But in the end, as you said, it seems like the way to truly break Boyd is to get everyone to lose faith
Yes.
in him of being a leader.
point,
You may not be able to break him that way, but mentally, if no one believes in him, I think that's what would truly break him.
Right. Yes, definitely. He thrives under that. You know, he can do what's necessary. He can find what's necessary. But if no one believes in him, he withers. And I would hate to see that. I hope he can keep it together, or at least others can prop him up to help him keep it together.
It seems like finally Ellis is 100% on his side, so he can at least count on Ellis, that I think is going to be there for him through everything. It seems like, that's one of the things that happened in season 2 that's a positive, that Ellis and Boyd's relationship seems to be repaired to a point now where they actually have, each other's backs in a big way. So hopefully Ellis will be able to keep, which scares me for Ellis's safety this season, because if anything happens to him, that's when Boyd really will be broken. But I agree with you, caller, Fusa 916. The faith in Boyd, if they're breaking that, that's really the best way to break Boyd too, when people start questioning him. And we've been talking about that all night. When Boyd gets found with her dead and he's sitting there alive again from being around the monsters, in this town, the way these people are, there's going to be, well, he's not the leader. Maybe he's one of them. This is when it's going to turn on Boyd a little bit and really going to fuck with him a bit.
Oh yes, they will definitely question, as it was said, why, in the preview or in one of the trailers, why isn't he dead? Ms. Lou is dead. Why isn't he dead?
Exactly.
That's going to be a major question. But with Ellis also, Ellis may not be there for him because he's going to be dealing with the situation with Fatima.
True.
And so it's really going to be a challenge. But I notice big girl Clara is still there, and she's got some speaking lines. So I'm wondering if she'll play a part later on in the upcoming season.
Was she the one that was yelling at the asshole that was yelling at Fatima in the bathroom?
Yes, new girl. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, the big girl that was yelling at her. She didn't have a patch on this time. Her eye patch.
She just the eye is better. I think they show new people all the time, and it's good to see a familiar face that you've seen before in there with her. I know that Mika, she said that she thought she was suspect, and she thought she was up to some witchcraft stuff. Yep. She was always saying that about her.
I'm more of the thought that this is not a magic kind of situation or witchcraft or tarot related. I think it's more scientific than that.
Yeah, I agree. I think you'll see
the whole thing play out. That's what'll be proven.
I think you'll see some tarot stuff, and I think you'll see some supernatural stuff, and I think you're going to see it's going to look like it is, but in the end, it won't be. It'll all be, because you don't bring a character like Jade there. That's Jade's job, to see the things that look supernatural and tell you exactly what's really going on. He's the myth.
We always say about magic. It's just science not discovered yet.
100%.
So it's explained as magic.
Exactly. So I definitely think it's going down like that.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you for taking my call, and you'll be hearing from me more often now that the show is back online.
Perfect.
It's going to be so good.
Oh. It's going to be. Thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, thank you. And as always, keep it sexy.
Mm.
All right.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Huh? Good night.
Tony, I
nigga,
do want to say
shirt
something.
called-
Someone in the live chat asked a question. Drunk Bishop. Yes, I actually finally figured out how to sign into it, and I can set it up now or in the future for next week, so we can take calls on Discord as well for anybody, especially for people that aren't in the US that may want to pop on in. If you have Discord, I'll set it up so we can take calls that way as well, because I do have Discord to be able to easily sign in. Or another option, if you're from outside the country and you want to get your voice in the show, you can email me at theissuesguy@gmail.com and email a voice clip. But yes, I will have the Discord open to be able to take calls anytime.
All right, I want to tell you, but how can science explain the boy in white or electrical stuff, y'all? I'll get right back to that, but I just want to highlight that someone else just bought a shirt, right? Where is that person who bought a shirt? I want to highlight you for buying that shirt and everything. Who was it that bought it? Wolfspear. Wolfspear said, I just ordered from Fromily shirts.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Wolfspear, for dropping 2 shirts. Truly appreciate it. Again, so how can we, back to Glue Guns and Roses question, how does it explain the boy in white and how does it explain electricity? I have never seen in any show I've ever watched any type of supernatural stuff do anything with electrical lights or anything like that. I've never seen like magicians wave a magic wand and all of a sudden they got electricity in the town. To me, that itself, anything like that does explain straight up that that's dealing with science fiction. As for the boy in white, we got to actually ask ourselves, what are we dealing with when we're dealing with the boy in white? Is the boy in white is he a clone? Is he just a projection in somebody's
is he a hologram?
Yeah, is he a hologram? So all these things need to be answered before we can actually decide what's going on. But when you deal with electricity, I mean, really dealing with electrical pulses, it's all science in the end, right? So when you deal with electrical stuff in the town, I would say that's easily more decided by electricity than by science than it would be. Again, you could say there's some type of Tesla coil, right, standing out there that's giving power to the town. You could say that the electricity is coming through the lighthouse, and then that's what's giving electricity through the town and everything else. So how can a hologram physically push Tabitha? We talked about this before. If you're a fan of Star Trek and you see that they have a holodeck that's there, in the futuristic technology of the holodeck, all the holograms in the holodeck, you can interact.
Yeah, you can physically touch
They
them.
could physically touch you. They could push them. They could do anything with them. So we're looking at the holograms from our perspective at our level. But those futuristic holograms, they could touch you.
It goes to another level where there's even like a doctor on Voyager that's like an actual doctor, the EMH. Area code 352. What's your name? What's your question? And where the hell are you?
Yo, what's up? This is Drunk Bishop from Florida.
Oh, Drunk Bishop. Welcome, buddy.
Drunk Bishop.
What's up, guys?
Good to hear from you, man. Good. It's always good when like you see someone in the chat, then you finally hear their voice and they actually call in.
100%.
You don't sound as drunk as I imagined you by reading your name every time.
Well, I've had a lot of years to practice hiding it. So
Good. Fair point.
So I wanted to talk about like some of the, Tony's always talking about, the aliens and the science fiction and stuff. I'm so curious about what you think about all these, like, there's so much dream sequences and stuff going on. There's just a lot to me that's kind of pointing magic-y. And like, okay, what do you think about the ballerina in the dreams and like the fact that, Boyd in the tower, it seems to be like some sort of, alternate plane that he's on until he smashes the music box and then everything stops and everybody, comes out of their thing. And then also the hallucinations everyone seems to be having, like Jade with the symbols, and then Tabitha with the children, and then all of a sudden the stuff disappears.
I would say this, dealing with hallucinations. I actually seen there was an episode of somebody, I forgot which show it was, but it was like a Mythbuster type show. That's what the people were like in the show. It wasn't the actual Mythbuster show, but it was about this priest who was having like these visions and stuff, and they were having visions that were going in there and having visions, and it turned out to be some type of carbon monoxide or something that was inside of the water that they have that was messing with people's minds, causing them to have hallucinations, right? It was something like that caused that caused that and everything, right? So again, though they were visions and people thought this guy was blessed by God and everything else and all this, it actually turned out to be some type of chemical thing that was giving him these things and stuff like that. So I would say that you can explain just about anything like that. Like there's always going to be something out there that people think is happening, but it might be able to be explained by some type of technology that's actually going on.
Now that's very
What was
interesting.
the other example
I feel like early on, wasn't there a theory going around that I don't know if you were the one that started this, but someone mentioned something about mushrooms possibly being involved?
Yeah, people saying I asked Mrs. Lou when she came on the channel last time.
Oh, I remember. Yeah,
was she slipping some type of stuff in those tea? And then she said she's like,
right.
"Oh, the mushroom tea, huh?" And I was like,
I remember that.
You know what I mean? So she said that she's the one who brought that. I asked her, and she put that up in there. She's like, "Oh, the mushroom tea." Yeah, listen, there's a lot of things that you could take in life to to expand on your memories and things like that. The people who do hypnotism, they can give you a definition, a scientific definition of why hypnotism supposedly works and everything.
Have either of you guys ever been hypnotized, or attempted it?
I think everyone's attempted to wave or watch it,
or gone to a hypnotist or something like that.
No, never.
I tried out for a hypnotism game show. It was supposed to be on Fox. It was like you get hypnotized and you have to grab bags of money or something like that. And I faked it. Like I was in that room for fucking 3 hours trying to get on that cast, and I faked it the whole time. And eventually they came out to me and go, "We know you're bullshitting." And I'm like, "I want the money. I want the money." But that was the closest I got.
Dude, that's actually really cool to know about you, Phil.
It was a funny story. There's more to that story, but I don't want to waste people's time. It's a funny story.
No. I mean, I think I just kind of wanted to know what Tony thought about that in terms of how sci-fi could play in. That's a very interesting route because what got me thinking about this so much recently was Boyd seeing Abby, and then when Boyd made that comment that I know damn well that wasn't my wife. So what are you, to Father Cautry? And, was there anything that kind of struck you about that comment, and also the way Boyd, she's been kind of goading Boyd to make these decisions. And he's like, no, I'm going to do the opposite. And seems to be working out for him.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier in the stream, and I'll say it again. When you deal with shows like Contact, like a sci-fi show, or you deal with a show like Interstellar, when they reached beings who lived in the fourth dimension, they all took shapes of people that they were familiar with. And the reason why they said you wouldn't be able to comprehend what we truly look like. Your mind wouldn't be able to see it. So they came to them as shapes that they were that they were friendly with in order to have conversations with them. So I do believe it could be a situation like that going on here.
Okay, that's very interesting, because that is kind of like a common trope where it's you would literally go insane if you saw my true form. I think even the book It does that as well, with Pennywise, to even gaze upon it's also kind of what do they call it, Lovecraftian sort of. That's the vibe I get from the show. It's kind of how I still hang on to the science fiction aspect is like, you know, with all the dreams and stuff, I'm thinking, you know, it's very Lovecraftian, where it kind of sort of combines the two in a way, where at the end it'll probably tie it all together and then be like, oh yes, okay, it was probably just aliens the whole time.
Well, you look at Pennywise.
I'm kind of with you.
Pennywise was an alien.
Exactly, he was.
Yeah, I mean it's a horror show, but Pennywise was an alien. Oh, Saggy Star says I got 2 shirts. Whoop whoop. Thank you. Make sure you take pictures in them shirts and send them to me on Facebook so I can put them on the website and share them with people, man. And I would say this: if anyone looked at those monsters' heads and did not think those look like some alien heads, I don't know if you've ever seen what they depict aliens as. They changed the look of them, but those back of those nongas was definitely the alien shaped heads there going on here.
Yeah, and also the screams. The screams are very. It reminds me of, like, I don't know, literally the movie Alien.
Yeah, the shrieks. Yeah, the alien shrieks.
Yeah, it's very like otherworldly. You know what I mean? Like it's not like, they do give off vampire vibes, but the screams are not very vampire to me. They're more
in their actions and stuff, and some of the aspects aren't vampire, but I agree. Like, there was a couple of moments where they reminded me of Buffy vampires for a second, where they were switching just the way their faces looked, or the way that it was like a switch of like normal into that form, but they're obviously not doing vampire things. But I see what you see. I even said something earlier like that, like they reminded me of a Buffy vampire switch at some point.
Someone also made like an interesting comment in the chat earlier. Like, I don't know if y'all saw it, but they were asking, like, it seemed like Boyd was kind of giving them a run for their money until they changed, like, kind of into their form, and then they were like, all right, we're gonna like start tangoing here. You know what I mean? Is there anything to that, you think? Or
yeah, Tony was talking about this earlier. Tony, do you think that they get any sort of power burst from their monster form?
Yeah, 100%. When they're in the monster form, they're definitely stronger than they are when they're in their normal form.
Yeah, they get the Bam Bam strength right there in that moment.
Yeah, because every time when you see them break into the box, they were in monster form when they did it, right? Boyd grabbed that monster and tossed that monster like nothing. You know what I mean? Tossed that, and then the monster got into monster form and grabbed him and clawed him for doing it. You know, but when they were in regular form, you know, the way you look at it, it took 3 of them dudes to hold Boyd back, 3 in regular form. You know what I mean? But it took one of those monsters were actually literally breaking through boards to get to that guy.
Yeah.
When they were in their monster form. So yeah, they definitely get strength when they're in the monster form.
And then, do you think that we'll see anything more from this, like, worm thing? I mean, how is that going to play out? Like, we got one of them. Like, I feel like since Kenny's mom died, as soon as homeboy gets to town, he is going to flip his lid and he's going to be like, all right, we're out of food, we're out of like all options, all the food's rotting, the animals are kind of gone. Like, I'm kind of assuming that, like, stuff's about to go down real quick. Like, Boyd's gonna be like, all right, we don't have an option. Like, I have to figure out how to get us out of here, like, now somehow. And I don't know, it might lead to some like desperate move. I mean, there's just so many, you know, so many ways the second episode could go.
Listen, you go after my peoples, we coming for you. I don't care who you are, and that's just what it is. So I don't understand why they wouldn't just go down there and get at him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all that stuff.
And as for the worms, I think the only worms that we're going to see on this series again are the worms that they're going to have to eat to have food. I think pretty much the most of that stuff that we saw last season with the worms and the music box stuff, I don't think that stuff's going to come back. I could be wrong. Maybe it will, but I think that was going to be season 2. It's going to be like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 when Freddy becomes the kid. Like, that never comes back in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I think season 2, when we look back on this, will be an outlier, and that's like I don't think we're going to get back to nightmares and worms and shit like that. Personally, I think they're just going to go in other directions. I don't know about you, Tony. Do you think we'll ever see the worms again?
I think you'll see the ones that were inside Boyd's skin, because I think that's how they took these
Yeah, that's how they killed them.
Parasites and put them in humans, and that's how you get the monsters that we get. I think that's why they look.
Where did they get more worms?
From the aliens that they caught.
Oh.
Now, do you think that they broke Boyd? And if not, will they break Boyd? Does Boyd make it out of this thing alive, or is he some sort of hero that at the end has to sacrifice himself and then just doesn't make it out, and everyone else is, good because of what he did?
Good drunk question. I mean, good damn question. I think Boyd does make it out alive. I think Boyd beats these fuckers and they don't break Boyd. I don't think this breaks Boyd. I think this pisses Boyd off and they don't know who the fuck they're fucking with. And I think Boyd's gonna go ape shit and they fucked with the wrong guy. That's the vibe I get from this, is they messed with the wrong guy and Boyd is going Rambo on their asses.
Yeah, I think more Kenny. You killed his mom. This is the bottom line. You know where they live, bro. It's not like it's a secret anymore. You know exactly where they rest in their head. You know they can't come out in the daytime. Go in there and set the whole cave on fire. Just go in there and just make a trail of fire and just light the trail and set them all on fire and see what happens. I mean, it's really not. It's not that hard. I don't pause on that, but I don't understand why that people don't do that already. You got all the alcohol from everything else. Go in there, set a trail, put some stuff in there so it goes up in flames and light that bitch up.
I think they're probably going to do that. I think at some point they're all going to combine in their information, say, all right, Boyd's going to go super marine mode and he's going to go logistics with it. He's going to go, what do we know about the enemy? How do we, you know what I mean? He's going to utilize all his skills, and maybe we do see, is that a prediction? Maybe we do see the whole thing go in flames. They're going to set it on fire or something.
More fire. I mean, we need more fire. And I agree. We've talked about this before. Boyd has a certain set of skills. Caller, thank you so much, Drunk Bishop. We're going to take this next call, but thank you, buddy, for the awesome call.
Yeah, man. Good seeing you guys later.
Thank you, my friend. And I think this is Guns N' Roses. So let me get this in. 414. If area code 414. What's your name? What's your question?
414. This is Manuel.
Oh, Mager, what's going on?
This is Manuel Blackman.
You gotta turn down your radio and take television in the back, brother.
Sorry, I'm hearing this delay. I'm just gonna step into another room. But yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, that when they got 10-10, I was hollering from like the top of my lungs, like motherfuckers! Like I was so mad.
Yeah, no, yeah. And it happened in like a slow motion way where like Boyd's telling her to go away and she's watching the cow. You knew what was going to happen. Like, I don't know how many people in the live chat and you and the caller and you, Tony, you all knew what was going to happen.
When she was talking to Kenny, I knew it was over.
Yeah, it was a slow
I don't want to lose
wreck.
you. Once that I don't want to lose you came, that was the end of it.
It was so sad.
Yeah, they left a breadcrumb, like, I don't want to lose you. Yep. It's crazy. But yeah, it was just very, very intriguing how they set a trap for him. 3 or 4 of them in the barn waiting for him to come in there. But my thing is, how did they know that he was going to go to the barn?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess you would have to just figure that the cows got to go inside the barn for the night, and that they figured that he's going to go inside them again. Yeah, I mean, I think that what happens sometimes is, as fans, we're going to overthink it, right? And find the logic and the actual logic in it, but. I think it was a plot device for.
Do you know what I'm gonna do my own own headcanon that they set up a few of these things around. It wasn't just this group. Yeah. They had a couple of groups of these people in different places to try to trap Boyd in different situations. This wasn't all their eggs in that one basket. It's just the one that worked out. And my headcanon is this was a bigger plan that they had where they'd get him one way or another.
Yeah. I actually think you're right, because if you look at the demeanor of the old lady when she tried to get Ethan, she was mad. They wanted Ethan. That's who they really wanted. I had to rewind it back a couple of times. Like, she was like really mad that Ethan got
You
away.
might be right. The original plan might have been to get Ethan and do this to Ethan in front of Boyd. Yep. Kidnap Ethan, bring him to the barn and trap Boyd in the barn or something like that. I'm sure there was a lot of plans and it was something that was in motion, but or there was many different ways it could go. But Tony's right. Like sometimes in situations, us as fans, especially when we're talking for 2.5 hours about an episode, you can break it apart here and there. But basically, they got one over on him. They ended up getting him.
Yeah.
I just gotta cause like I'm a screenwriter. I graduated 2 years ago, and just me how I think about how to put together shows. That hat is always on. So definitely mixed with overthinking. So
now, if you write anything that actually makes it, you have to come back and talk to us about it.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. You got another caller. That's fine. Yeah.
Oh, no. I mean, we do have another caller, but what I meant was if you write something and it ends up, we wish you all the success as a screenwriter, but if you write something that gets produced, just promise us you'll call it. When you're a big famous screenwriter, you won't forget about Tony and Phil.
100%.
Okay, just make
Tony,
sure.
Man, I've been following you for a while. Like, you really got me into like looking at these videos online, like YouTube and stuff. Just the theories in general. Like, you're the GOAT, man.
Much appreciated.
I appreciate it 100%.
All right, y'all. I'm just gonna tune in and let you guys.
Thank you, my friend.
Make sure you call back. Appreciate it. All right, Brittany, let me take it. She said this may not matter, but anyone thought of why Victor's dad didn't end up there with the rest of his family. I just think that comes down to him not being in the car. Why he's not in the car? Did they break up? Was she taking the kids? Was she fleeing? Was she doing something? But in the end, it just got to do with him not being in the car, and that's why he didn't get taken. That's what it would be to me and everything else. Yeah, Glue Guns and Roses, please call back if you were calling.
Oh, we got Anna calling. Actually, that was KP that was calling, but we got Anna from the Red Lipstick Club calling on in. Welcome to the show, Miss Anna.
Hey, you guys, how you doing?
What's going on, Anna?
Listen, I had to call because you didn't see my comment on there, but
right.
You guys think that Boyd is like a constant character in whatever's happening, and he's just living a different time period each time he's there. And every time he comes back, he has flashbacks of what happened the last time he was in it. Because you remember like season 1, they kept showing all, I think it was like the men that were hanging, or it was like Civil War stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then this time, the milkman's calling him boy, like he's talked to him before in like a racial time period, right? Like he's been there before. So I'm wondering if Boyd is like, just like, it's like, I don't know, past lives or reincarnated, or like he keeps coming back in different time periods. Like they keep doing this during different time periods.
Well, I know that the actor who played the Civil War soldier is Boyd's stunt double.
Interesting.
So he could be a constant character that keeps coming back and being reincarnated into different aspects of there. I think they would have to show a little bit more before I could actually say that that's exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, because the only reason I bring it up is like I guess how is that storyline tied back up with anything? And then also, why is this like milkman calling him boy?
I know the Civil War
time period just feels like a lot of
I think that the Civil War soldier was a drawing of Eloise. There was drawings of Civil War soldiers. I know that. As for the milkman calling him boy, I didn't catch him say that. I got to go back and watch and see if he called him boy.
Yeah, was he saying boy or boy? I thought he was saying boy. Like
I gotta look and see if he was saying boy. Like, boy, get your ass over here, boy.
Yeah,
don't be running for me.
You should have a pretty mouth, boy.
Yeah. If the cowboy buster was saying that shit, then I could see it. But the milkman.
Oh yeah, maybe it was the Cowboys. I don't know who it was. It was one of them in that barn.
Oh yeah, the milkman's usually. Only thing the milkman usually says, "Is your mom at home?"
Maybe it was the cowboy then. I don't know, but it seemed like somebody that was like set in the 50s, like, you know, were like you would call a black man boy, like during that time period.
Yeah, I gotta take.
And I'm wondering, like, if he was like with people, and like it was like a whole bunch of people in the town. I mean, that's not going to stop you from being racist, right? Just because you're all stuck there.
No,
it's
no,
probably really hard to lead during that time period as well.
no. You're gonna be who you're gonna be.
Black guy.
It's almost going to make you worse if
Yeah.
you have that.
Yeah. So I don't know, just something to think about. That's all. I just thought it was interesting, and I just feel like they've not really brought back up the Civil War stuff yet. And I'm like, maybe they're just showing us like that Boyd is like a constant character in this story, and like he's had to deal with trying to be a leader under stressful times and like multiple periods of time.
Yeah.
Like they've basically been doing this for like hundreds of years.
Yeah, it's definitely some type of time paradox going on here. I haven't figured out exactly what it is, but I agree that there's something going on.
Yeah. We'll see. Thanks, guys, for having the after show. Oh, also, have you been watching Penguin?
I haven't watched the first episode.
Had a chance to watch it. Yeah, I am going to watch it, but I haven't had a chance to watch
They
it.
only released the first episode, but 10 out of 10.
Oh, really? Okay. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm getting excited to hear about Oz Cobblepot there.
Yeah, definitely 10 out of 10 show. You got to watch it. I'm curious to see how you guys.
He's got a Tony Soprano vibe in the trailer.
They keep saying he's an ugly Tony Soprano.
He's giving me a Tony Soprano vibe in the. Okay.
It's very much that.
An ugly Tony Soprano.
It was even him. I forgot it was him.
Interesting. Okay, cool. Thank you, Anna. I might check this out after the show.
See you on an After Dark soon.
I hope so.
Bye.
Bye. Crypto Color Lights. Tony, do you think Tabitha in the real world, she's just dreaming again? No, I think we've confirmed that she's in the real world.
In the real world.
I think I don't think that's even a dispute of it ever and anything else. Like
and
that.
you know it's bad, Tony, when someone's calling you an ugly Tony Soprano, because God rest his soul, or Captain Kangaroo rest his soul, James Gandolfini, but he's he wasn't a looker.
No, he became a sex symbol.
He did. No, in a way, yeah.
He did.
Area code 812. What's your question? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hey y'all, it's me. Glue, Guns and Roses.
Oh, Glue's good. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, Glue?
Okay, so first of all, I want to say something before I forget. I don't know if it was on your stream, but you know how everyone's asking, like, why did Sarah cut out the tongue of Toby?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They say it in episode, like, in the first season. Like, Sarah tells her brother. I was just watching the first season again, and I just want to get that off my chest. That Sarah says the monsters told her to make it look like the monsters did it.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But what I really want to call about is what are y'all talking about? Science fiction? Are we talking about science fiction? Are we talking about science? I don't know if y'all saw my comment. Are we talking about like Dune? Are we talking about like Chernobyl? But like what type of science? I've never watched Star Trek, and I don't know about any holograms that can push you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking sci-fi. Mostly when we talk sci-fi, we're just talking. Basically, the easiest way to say is that technology is what's doing all this, not magical hocus pocus stuff. It's all some form of technology that's powering this place.
Okay, but still like fantasy, right? Is that where you're going? Or are you saying like there's
I'm saying
science explanation?
Fantasy would be that there's a magical tree that you can go through that takes you anywhere. Science fiction would be that it looks like a tree, but it's actually a teleportation device.
Okay. I'm not big on I don't know of anything else besides Doom. I can't think of any other science fiction I would have.
I mean, Star Wars.
I've heard y'all say that I heard you say it so many times, actually, Tony, that this is a science thing. Sorry, bad interpretation or bad.
No, that was a good.
That was not a good film.
It wasn't. No, it was more me. That was more. I was gonna say that was more of an impression of me. That was a good impression of me. My excitement.
Forgive me. I probably shouldn't have called it. I had a few.
No, you should call him.
No, you should always call.
So who knows?
You should literally always call in.
Yes, we're happy to have you call in 100%. But yeah, when I say sci-fi, I'm meaning more. It just means technology is what's driving this stuff not some hocus pocus magic or anything like that. It's all science based. There's an explanation to why all this stuff is happening. Magic is really no explanation. It just appears and it disappears. That's it. But this is when I say it's science, I'm saying that there's some type of technology that's making all these things. Like, I don't believe the faraway trees are magical. I believe the faraway trees are actual teleportation devices disguised as trees so they blend in.
There's an episode of Star Trek where there's this magic creature that pretends to do all these things. It's like the devil and like ruining the world. And then the Star Trek crew shows up and then they can do all the stuff on the ship, like with, you know, with beaming, you know, with, because I know you didn't watch Star Trek, so I don't want to like confuse it too much, but with just using all the stuff that they can do on their science ship, they can recreate the same magic, you know, because sometimes in some cases, magic is just science that hasn't been invented yet or hasn't been discovered. You know, if like you see some magnet stuff that you don't know, like it could look like I'm, you know, using it to, you know, use levitation or something. So the boy in white being a projection could be a weird hologram thing that's like a solid hologram that people can touch and interact with, but it's still not really there. Or the faraway trees can be some sort of beaming technology, which like portals you from one place to another.
Hold on, I want to stop you. Not to interrupt you, but let me interrupt you for a second.
Interrupt me all you want.
We're saying that science can do like teleporting. Are we talking about time travel? What can science do? Please explain to me what science can do. Can science make monsters appear and disappear? Can science make a whole different dimension that teleports you there magically, scientifically?
Fair question.
Like, do you see what I'm saying here?
I would say 100% that science would be the way that you teleport. Any movie that you've ever seen, more people teleporting back in the time, it was always a time machine that was made by science that transported them back and forth. When you looked at the movie The Fly, the way he became the fly was he made a teleportation device, but a fly accidentally got stuck in it and emerged his DNA when he did that. So all those things you're saying, people go into different dimensions. That's called wormhole theory. That you could have what Albert Einstein came up with, that there's wormholes that you can crisscross through different galaxies and go through and everything else. So all those things you just mentioned are science-based.
Okay. I just want to make sure we are the words I'm hearing and the words you're using all have the same meaning. Because I guess I was thinking science. I was thinking like, I don't know, not teleporting and not time travel. I'll tell you that. Okay. So, but you're thinking there is wait, hold on. Freddy Krueger, the movie. Because the other movies, The Fly, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, Freddy Krueger, I'm with you.
Is Freddy Krueger supernatural or is that science fiction?
I mean, that's supernatural because he's the souls. He used like the bastard souls of 1,000 maniacs to like fuel his hatred of the people that killed him. So that's he's using. But
real quick, Phil, like we talked about before, if you look at the movie It, the creature, I don't know if you've seen It.
Okay, I know that one. Okay, is that science fiction?
That yes, because It is an alien, is a shape-changing alien that came there and fed on the kids, but it was a shape-changing alien from outer space.
Okay, we're talking about the movie, not the book. So we're leaving the
movie, the movie
out of it, right?
Yeah, that guy with the balloon, Pennywise, is a shape-changing alien. You know, he's from outer space. He just feeds on kids and stuff, but he's not. You know, it's in a horror genre, but that right there is scientific, and that's an alien right there.
Okay. So pretty much aliens. Anything with aliens. Okay. I'm with you. Sorry. I'm just catching up here because we kept on saying science. Forgive me. I am not the brightest crayon in the box. I was mildly confused on what type of science we were talking about here.
You're funny. You're the funniest crayon in the box, though.
Yeah. I mean, even if you look at the lights that are flashing around town, again, it can be described that there's a Tesla coil, which Tesla made an invention that could give you basically wireless charging from all over the place, right? So
you said that, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I do remember something about that. I'm with you there on the electricity without the outlets. Technically, there can be like wireless electricity, so I get that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm still, but if we're gonna say science can do like Pennywise, all right, fine, I'm with y'all. It's science fiction. If that's what science fiction is, fine, I'm with y'all. I would consider that supernatural. but tomato, it's fine. Maybe there's a language barrier down here. I don't know, but that's fine. Science fiction, I get you now.
Yeah, I so would say Pennywise looks supernatural.
Passive aggressive agreement, but I'll take it.
And everybody thinks that Pennywise was a supernatural creature, but Pennywise turned out just to be an alien. Right.
Okay. Okay. And so you think, but okay, so let's compare. Do you think like the type of alien that appears supernatural? Do you think that's where From's going, the direction with this? Like 100%. In the end, it'll end up being like a supernatural being or super.
Because again, if you're dealing with someone that's in the fourth dimension, right? Like they could do things to people who live in the third dimension, but because you can't see the fourth dimension, you could never see them actually doing it. You would just see the after effects of that happening. So when we see the house collapse, out of nowhere, it looks like the house collapsed out of anywhere. But if someone was in the fourth dimension affecting it, but they would be able to collapse the house, but we wouldn't be able to see them collapse the house. We would just see the house collapse as we seen in the show.
Okay. I think I just need to brush up on some science fiction because when you start talking about like third dimension, fourth dimension,
Star Trek
and all these references, it's really over my head. So it's a me problem, I guess, and I'll fix it though. But hey, that's really the beef I had. Y'all kept on saying science, and I kept on thinking, what type of science? I get it now. I think maybe not all the way, but I'm closer to getting an understanding science fiction.
That's what it is. Again, if someone if you look up someone in the fourth dimension, if someone was living in the fourth dimension and they were looking at us as we're in the third dimension, we can't see it. They would be able to see right through our body. They would be able to see through your skin. They would be able to reach inside of your body and pull your heart out, but you wouldn't be able to see them doing it. You would just see your heart burst out of your chest. Right, that's what someone in the fourth dimension can.
What's something I can like look up that would give me a very, because I'm not gonna lie, this like I'm listening, I understand what you're saying, but I can't, like I don't have a reference.
If you want to know about,
what should I look up, or what show or movie or something?
If you want to learn about the fourth dimension, I would just go on YouTube and put in there fourth dimensional being, and they'll show you a whole. I did it in one of my videos, but you can just look up fourth dimensional being, and you'll see all scientists explain exactly what a fourth dimensional being would be able to do to someone in third dimension and everything else. And that would explain a lot of the things, like when you see someone banging on from the bottom of the RV when it slipped over, and Randall says that's not supposed to happen. It's on the ground. But if someone was from the fourth dimension, the ground would not affect them. They'd be able to bang on it. You know, again, when you see the house collapse and Randall's inside, he says specifically, houses just don't collapse like this. You know, if he says that, and they have him say that for a reason. And then they do show the cracks form and then the house go down. But what made those cracks form on that house?
And also, I know this isn't like this, but a good way of describing a fourth dimension kind of situation is if you've ever seen the Truman Show, the way that the guy in position of the whole universe is kind of above it all and has a control thing, kind of control the weather, control what happens. The director position, that's sort of, he's in the position of what a fourth dimensional creature would be into the world, of being able to kind of create, like you're playing Civilization, like you're playing the game, and you're controlling everything that happens with all the characters.
Okay. Look, I don't want to take up any more of y'all's time. I do appreciate you taking my phone call, but I do have one last question. So, but we are saying time travel. Like, let's just pretend, you know, like Roanoke, like how they all disappeared. If like in a science fiction world, could that be explained with the third or fourth dimension stuff, like time traveling that way? Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
What did you Roanoke?
One more time?
Like, okay, y'all, maybe I'm saying it wrong. Roanoke? You know, like how they all went missing. This is years, like history.
Okay. Yeah. I
don't know the year. Okay. Could the show be using that and still do it in a science fiction way with time travel, the third and fourth dimension? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, it does. I would look at it like this. Let me give you a better example, if I can, more that I explain. If you believe in like the Bermuda Triangle, right? And people say, oh, this place is cursed if you go over the Bermuda Triangle. it's cursed, and that's why everyone who goes in there dies. But then scientists will tell you that it's most likely it's a wormhole by the Bermuda Triangle, that people are traveling through this wormhole and coming out the other side, and that's why they're going to different spots, right? So to the uninitiated mind, it just looks like it's cursed, but to the scientists, they have an explanation that it's not cursed, it's a wormhole. You know, it would be the same thing. You know, there's certain, you know how there's like certain spots in this world where if you have a car on a hill and you put it in neutral, the car will go up the hill backwards. You ever hear places like that? There's one not too far from me, right? That you put your car
it's flat. So, but I've never heard that. I believe you, but I've never heard.
Yeah, if you look it up, there's a lot of spots in the world. There's one not too far from me that you could go on the hill, put your car in neutral, and the car will go by itself back up the hill, go right back up. Now that looks like magic, but what it is it's a magnetic pull from the earth that pulls the car that goes back up the hill and stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, look, I'm getting more on board with y'all. Okay, I see. I understand what you're saying, science fiction now. I understand where we're going. So I understand now, more so. I still need to look at the third and fourth dimension. But okay. I was just real skeptical. And I've heard you say that so many times. I've watched your videos and you're like, there's a scientific, this is aliens, y'all. And I'm like, look, you're entertaining, Tony, but I think you're wrong. I think you might be more, you're less wrong now. You know what I'm saying? I'm right. What's the saying? I'm right, you're less right, but you might be more right than me or less wrong than me. However that saying goes. But I'm starting to understand. I don't know if I'm totally on board yet, but I'm starting to understand what you're saying.
That's what it is. Hey, listen, this is I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I'm just putting it out there. So we'll see.
You are. Okay. All right. Thanks, y'all, for letting me call in. I won't take up any more of y'all's time.
It's all good. Thank you for calling in. Truly appreciate it.
Okay. Y'all have a great night.
You too.
Now, Tony, I think we pissed off KP because I've had to miss, like, he's called when other people were calling a couple of times. So
let me answer.
Oh, y'all don't answer my calls anymore? I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about this. No.
KP's not happy.
I'm sorry, KP. Drunk Bishop is. We're about to get up. We're about to get up out of here. Drunk is going almost 3 hours. Drunk Bishop says, "Thank you for super chat. How does sci-fi explain the talisman? He can explain it very easily. Number one, we don't know what's inside that actual rock. That we don't have no idea if there's some type of microchips or something in the rock. Number two, we don't know if it's asteroid, that there's some type of chemical in that rock that does not allow them to go through it. So it doesn't have to be some magic. And number three, we don't even know if the rocks are really real, if it's just part of a game that people are playing. And that's all part of the game about the talisman. We don't even know if it means anything at all. So that's what I would say about the rock. But again, you got to break stuff open to know what's inside of it. And so that's what it is. Again, when you look at Superman, Superman's an alien, right? He's from a different planet. He's an alien. What affects Superman? It's green kryptonite rock that the rocks that from Krypton that hurt his powers and stuff, right? So it's always could be something like that. It's always can be something that's science fiction. That's got nothing to do with magic at all and stuff like that. But all right, let's run. Do we have any super chats I didn't get to?
Yeah, let's get to a couple of super chats. I don't think they're in the real world. Red bandana guy and yellow shirt guy walk by Tabitha twice in the same direction. This isn't a mistake. Do you think there's any chance that Tabitha isn't in the real world?
No, she's in the real world. That's a done deal.
Okay, let's see if we missed
Jesse gifted a membership. Thank you so much.
I think do we get Luna's super chat here? Sorry. Technology so advanced it appears like magic. Light switch turn on.
Yeah, it's basically technology so advanced that it looks like magic. If we don't know about a light switch turning on lights, it may turning on lights. It may be understood as magic, and that's correct. That's what it is. If you have things that look spectacular because you can't explain it, they call it magic. But once it has an explanation, then it's scientific. And that's what it is. And I think we're going to see things that look like magic. Now, listen, if you see some tarot cards come out there, which is a good chance from the trail that we're going to see, and you see a demon like Beetlejuice come out of there, that's magic. We're talking magic. That's not science fiction. You're dealing with a Beetlejuice situation like that, right? But
don't say it one more time, Tony. Not a third time. You only said
if there's something else going on out there, then, and again, I think we're going to see aspects of that, and it's going to look like that. You even hear Boyd. make fun of it and say, so I'm supposed to believe that there's some little boy running around a magical forest, right? And he says that. They're not saying that just to say saying it because he's making fun of it, because that's not what it is. That's what it seems like, right? And that's what he said. You won't even believe that there's a little boy running around a magical forest. That's what it seems like, and that's what they want you to believe. That's what it looks like. But in the end, that's not what's going to be. All right, let's get up out of here. Thank y'all for all the super chats. Thank y'all for going to the shop and buying the shirts. But number one, thank y'all for just showing up and rocking with us. We'll be here again next week. We will have Elizabeth Moy up in this piece rocking with us. She will be here.
Should we ignore tape? No, we got KP. We're saying good night, buddy. We love you, but we gotta go, buddy. We love you.
Yeah, it's 12 o'clock. I got to get out of here.
Everybody, good night.
Good night, KP.
Right,
we love you. We'll take your call first next time on Wednesday.
No worries, no worries. I haven't seen the episode yet, even. So.
Oh yeah, so fuck you then.
Episode, bro.
We love you.
Let's go. John Wicks. I think the monsters were a manifestation of Victor, Eloise, or his mom. The painting will prove they were dreamed up before they were abducted. Quite possibly, it could be a situation like that. And again, you want to talk about dreams? Go watch Inception. That's technology going inside of people's dreams, right? So that's what it is. But then there's also Harold and the Purple Crayon, right?
Yep.
So we'll see which way it goes and everything else. Again, thank you for being. We'll be here with Elizabeth Moy next week, so y'all can give her flowers when she's up here, and then I'll announce who's coming on next right after that and all that. Thank you, Phil. What's going on with your channel before we get up out of here? I gotta go do the whole thing, to turn this thing off.
Totally. I want to get to Only Murders in the Building. Only Murders in the Building season 1 was great, but this season has been amazing. It's probably the best season of it so far. I'm going to be covering that pretty soon and getting back to The Sopranos. But my band, Two Piece Trip, released a new single called St. Louis. And I just put up the lyric video on my channel, so I know it's not my usual shit, but check that out. Or if you're on Spotify or any other music stuff, check out the song St. Louis by Two Piece Trip. And if you like it, download it or listen to it or, share it, all that sort of shit. So I'll pretend to be the music guy tonight, Tony, and I'm going to be sharing my damn music all season. So
people asked about the book. The book come out. Yeah, it's not done. It's literally 120 words that I'm waiting for this person to finish editing, which I'm sure they're going to give it to me tomorrow and it's done. And right after that, the book will be out. So if they finish tomorrow, it'll be up on pre-order for Amazon tomorrow, and I'll let y'all all know. We'll be back again Wednesday night on normal time, talking more stuff and everything else and good stuff like that. All right. So again, I got to go do a whole thing to get up out of here. So
I'll babble I'll babble for a few seconds while Tony does all that.
But I'll say, if you like the way we do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.
So now Tony is going to shut this off, and I'm going to be cut off at some point. But thank you to everyone that checked this out on my channel. We're going to be simulcasting here, and make sure if you haven't already, you subscribe to Teflon TV. We're like, we're going to be doing this all season, and it's just like subscribing to me. I'm usually on there if I'm not on there. And Tony and I are also going to be doing a candy channel where we talk about candy stuff. So check that out, the snack battle. But yeah, thank you, everybody. We'll be back on Wednesday. Now I'm going to sit here quietly until Tony shuts off the stream. Let's see if I can actually do it. Let's see if I can be quiet. I don't think I can do it. Maybe. But wait. Oh yeah, Tony, we're about to stop. It's about to actually happen. I could play stupid music while we do this. Let's play a song. Good night, everybody.